Hello, everyone, and welcome to session 135 of Pokerole. Last time we had quite a set of events and a battle that fortunately was able to be resolved without any more permanent ghost defeats. And we also had some very emotional moments, and that was very nice. It was a good episode. If you didn't watch it, I recommend it. Also, why are you here if you didn't watch the previous episode or at least read the recap? But this is session, 135, and we're going to start it up. But before we do, if you like the video, whoops, that's the wrong feed. If you like the video, don't be sure to give it a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, you can think about doing that as well. But if you really want to help out, think about coming over to Twitch. We're trying to reach a partner over here, but need more viewers to do it. So if you want to come by, whether to lurk or talk, think about doing so, because it does make a world difference, and we would honestly love to have you. It's always nice to have new people talking. We actually got like 6 new viewers in last night's stream. That was pretty cool. I didn't expect to see that many new faces. Some of them were pretty chatty. That was fun. I like that a lot. So come on by. It's always fun to chat with new people. We also have a pretty cool Discord community if you want to check that out. Also, we have a Pokerole community you could access off of that for our game here. I have a coffee link if you want to help directly monetize my content. I have a merch store if you want to buy some cool merch. Reminder, there is Tucker merch. And also, of course, we have our Mirahi's Wiki for Poke Pioneers. You can check that out for recaps, character bios, and more. All links are in the description, and you can check them out whenever you feel like. They aren't time-limited links. Hooray. But also, how is everybody on the table doing?
I'm alright.
I'm doing good.
I'm well.
Tubby? Hopefully well as well.
I'm sure he exists somewhere.
I'm sure he exists in some plane or dimension.
Earlier he was saying his mic was having issues.
Oh no, why? Oh, everybody's having mic issues? Looks at my own mic, hopefully it doesn't. It's actually been a really reliable mic, so...
He might also be able to hear us and just not be able to respond for some reason.
Just hope he's okay. The other night he was kind of entertaining the VC. I think he had a bit much to drink, and he ended up repeating a big spiel about the latest death battle twice. Which is very really cute, honestly. I just hope you don't have a hangover, man.
Oh no. I rarely do because I know what causes a hangover and how to prevent it.
That's good.
It's dehydration, by the way. You're
by and large, because alcohol doesn't really hydrate you; it does the opposite, right?
Yeah, alcohol dehydrates you, so if you go to sleep plastered, you will wake up with a headache because you just spent 8 hours dehydrated.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a big glass of water at some point during your drinking, towards the beginning, towards the end. Just remember to drink a good hefty glass of water, and you should be okay.
As the stream of magic goes, remember to hydrate.
Hydrate before you dehydrate.
But I will hand it over to Kar for our recap then.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the table. Last time was session 135, Lost and Found. Ryda and Tucker watch as the Bayonet pulls strange threads from a painting in the attic, with confusion as to what exactly those threads represented. The Bayonet finishes consuming the threads and tells the two that their game of hide-and-seek could now begin. With emotion, the door to the attic seems to contort and a rift forms within it, and they gesture for the pair to go with them through the rift. While Ryda goes through, Tucker ponders what the Bayonet said before about not enjoying their toys being taken, and moves to return the figurines he picked up from the toy chest. The Bayonet sees this and explains that they don't mind if those toys are taken, especially if Tucker really wanted to play with them, and even suggests that the two of them can even play with the figurines together, after they find the Esper. Tucker nods and then follows Ryda through the rift, leading them to the cellar. The Bayonet tells the two that they'll join them in a second, and they just need to talk with the Sableye for a minute. Beginning their investigation, Ryda takes out their lens to check for footprints to determine any trails the pair could follow. They can easily recognize Ralph's footprints, but also notice a strange ring-like shape, which seemed to constitute as a footprint, as well as much smaller footprints, which looked to belong to something with very short legs. Ryda asks Tucker for information about the Esper, to which Tucker tells them about the time they encountered the Esper at Snowrun Hamlet. After telling them about the Esper, Tucker also warns Ryda that he notices that the Bayonet seemed to be an aspect wielder, just before the Bayonet appears from a rift to ask if they'd found any trace of the thief. Ryda confirms that they found a trail of footprints they could follow, but before they begin, they and Tucker examine the cellar to find a bunch of potentially valuable items, many of which are made of gold. They ask the Bayonet if it would be fine to take some of the items, to which the Bayonet confirms that they will be allowed to take them, as they were only boring objects that his father collected and never allowed them to play with. However, as they look around, they exclaim about how a certain tea set they put on watch was missing, and that the door their dad always went through was somehow open. Curious for more information, Tucker decides to ask the Bayonet about what the Esper has taken. They explain that, at first, they were fine with the Esper lingering around, since they were willing to play games with them. However, they began taking a bunch of items precious to the Bayonet, which made them much more unhappy with the Esper's behavior. The Bayonet repeats their statement to Ryda, asking if they found a way to track the Esper, to which Ryda confirms they've found a footprint trail that leads to the cellar exit up the stairs. The Bayonet prepares to open a rift before they heard a loud crashing sound which causes them to freeze, before letting out an outburst about how the thief must have been breaking their house. They lift their hands, and many rifts soon start to form around them as they look through each and every one of them, the rooms contorting as they do so. Then, Tucker and Ryda both hear the sound of static grow louder in their minds. Ralph looks around the terrace, pondering where to go next. He looks down at the garden in the mansion entrance, and before he thinks through how he could potentially get down there, he hears the familiar voices of Lyre and Mawile as they walk down one of the hallways and find him. Ralph asks how the two were doing with the maze, which confuses Mawile as, while some spots certainly seemed familiar while they were traveling, they were luckily not having to deal with the non-Euclidean hallways and rooms he'd been finding himself in. As Ralph recounts his experiences to the two, Mawile takes notice of the Giratina statue in Ralph's possession. She asks Ralph to let her examine it, which allows her to determine, based on the level of dust and wear on it, that it was likely left where Ralph found it for roughly 38 years. As Mawile explains to Ralph why it wasn't as ancient as he hoped, Hot Dog's voice can be heard from one of the hallways as he reaches the terrace and grumbles about Mawile and Lyre constantly running too far ahead of him. As Mawile catches Hot Dog up on what they were discussing, he remarks on how, while he'd not seen anything too out of the ordinary while close to Mawile and Lyre, he did start to see odd things whenever the two got too far ahead of him. Mawile hypothesizes about Lyre's presence serving as a sort of ward, keeping the more bizarre situations around him at bay. The group then decide to try and make their way back down to the cellar Ralph had just been in, partly to find clues and partly because Mawile was curious to examine the poltergeist Ralph said he'd found. As the group head down the hallways, they hear a crashing sound from below them. Mawile shows concern about whether more crashing sounds like that to lead to the mansion collapsing, to which Hot Dog explains that it shouldn't be likely much of a concern as long as the mansion's foundational pillars aren't struck. Mawile is shocked that Hot Dog would be aware of architectural knowledge like that, to which Hot Dog explains that before becoming a gladiator in Seaspray, he'd initially arrived to work as an architect, only to find out there wasn't much additional need for them by the time he'd arrived. Ralph's party heads downstairs, finding themselves in an antechamber with a large hole in the wall, and moving to examine it. Soon after, he hears the sound of static, along with a familiar ticking that causes him additional worry about just what might have been here. Mawile asks Ralph if they have any idea of what was going on, only for Ralph to answer that the ghost types might be in this mansion might have more power than they were originally hoping. Brooke and Bee follow Scale's directions to the exit of the antechamber, only for the exit to lead back into the very room they were trying to leave. To try and see if it would do something, Brooke places the candle they were carrying atop Bee's head and takes out his lamp, which causes strange rifts to become visible around the antechamber's exits, V grumbles about how they weren't expecting any ghosts that appeared in this mansion to be this powerful, and Brooke moves to examine the rifts, noticing that they look similar to zipper teeth around the edges. Seeing no way to remove the rifts from the exits, he faces towards a wall and instead uses superpower to crash his way through one of them, causing a loud noise that reverberates through the mansion. V follows Brooke through the newly made exit, which leads them into the reading room by the foyer, which looked to have an incomplete projection cast upon it. V is unnerved by the state of the room, but is at least relieved to not be stuck in the antechamber. While Brooke checks on Scales, who was hiding on his back ever since he took out the lantern, V excitedly tells Brooke that he found something in the fireplace, showing him a small golden picture frame that seemed melted somewhat. They ponder what the frame could be worth, and immediately reject Brooke's suggestions to consult a certain gold-obsessed salesman, before sighing over how few valuables they'd been able to find compared to how much hassle reaching and navigating this place has been. They also explain about how they don't exactly have much experience with or knowledge about ghost types, partly due to most ghost-type Pokemon preferring establishments like Gloamingwood in comparison to their cafe, joking about how terribly their last Spooky Night event at the cafe went. Soon after, the room seemed to suddenly start to contort, and the projections grow more unsettling as Brooke hears the familiar sound of static. V asks Brooke if they have any idea what was going on, to which Brooke answers that he could only hope he didn't just knock through a vital wall. Then they hear the sound of a voice calling for Little Thief, as they see the various rooms of the manor begin to open and meld together into one singular room. Brooke and Ralph's groups are the first to be united by the merging, which prompts them to quickly group up together and catch each other up on what they've experienced. As Ralph shows the statue to Brooke and V lets out a sigh of relief over the trip not being totally pointless, and they briefly pass out. As Ralph and Brooke talk to each other, Ralph notices Scales on top of Brooke's shoulder, which surprises Brooke since V didn't seem to notice them. However, despite Scales' attempts to speak, Ralph couldn't hear their voice either. Noticing the front entrance is within reach, the group ponder trying to exit the mansion before the state of it gets any worse. Ralph and Brooke agree to stay to be able to find Tucker and Rida, so Hot Dog takes Mobile, V, and Liar with him outside the mansion to not get in the way. Tucker and Rida soon hear the sounds of Brooke and Ralph calling for them as they watch the bayonet shift and contort their body to move around the mansion. As the rooms continue to shift and merge, Tucker begins to hear a concerning ticking sound through one of the rifts. Noticing how frantic the bayonet is getting, Rida tries to use the knowledge they got about the Esper to scry for them using their orb. They're able to identify the Esper's location, currently moving around the manor while carrying something over their head, and they show the orb to the bayonet. The bayonet immediately looks at the orb and grins after seeing their location. Then, with one last motion, they cause the entirety of the mansion to be combined into one singular massive room with endless, looping hallways, and an open terrace with one glowing eye gazing within. With the room now as one, everyone sees the Esper sipping a drink from a teacup before they see Brooke. The Esper moves over to Brooke and says to hand back the gift box, to which Brooke takes out the box and prepares to hand it over. However, as the bayonet sees the gift box, they furiously command to give the gift box back to them. Brooke throws the box in the air to stop the Esper from taking it, and the bayonet is able to catch it, only for the Esper to teleport the box out of their hands before saying that they are bored and vanishing, leaving the entirety of Team Cheer alone with an enraged bayonet. They shout for the Sableye, whom they call Mr. Grimsby, and throws a tantrum over how Team Cheer helped the Esper take the precious item from them. Grimsby tries to calm down the bayonet, who they call Mr. Bags, though to little avail. Then a battle between Team Cheer and the ghostly pair begins. During the battle, the party is able to confirm the aspect that Mr. Bags possesses, as a familiar static appears within their minds, the aspect of corruption. During battle, as Rida tries to attack him with their orb, they find out that their aspect allows them to alter the characteristics of things, such as reversing the effect of Rida's orb to allow them to change a special attack into a physical one. Into one that can change physical attacks into special ones. Trying to talk the bayonet down from attacking, Tucker tries to appeal to Mr. Bags by mentioning if their family would want to see them acting like this. Mr. Baggs angrily responds, mocking Tucker for trying to do that by returning the comments with his own comments on Tucker's memories of being all alone on a farm. Tucker shakes off the comments, knowing that the berserk behavior was likely due in part to the aspect, and tries to use Dark Pulse to restrain their movements. They also appeal to Grimsby, suggesting that the two could stop fighting like this and lingering the past to make new memories together. Seeing what Tucker is trying to do, Brooke takes the child's drawing from the bedroom and shows it to Mr. Baggs, He's surprised to see the drawing and asks where Brooke had found it. Brooke offers to give the drawing back to him, and the bayonet hurries over to take back the drawing and look down at it sadly. Brooke tries to comfort Mr. Baggs, looking towards Scales as he talks about how he understands the want to linger on past memories when the times were better. And how it's more important to focus on those around you in the present. Mr. Baggs explains how the ghost-type Pokemon in the mansion, like the estate itself, were all abandoned items, and how upsetting it was knowing that no one wanted them enough to come back for them. Grimsby speaks up, saying how they still enjoyed being around Mr. Baggs, and now he was helping them for so long because he didn't want them to disappear. Mr. Baggs also says that now Timothy, the poltergeist, has gone missing as well, and how they likely weren't ever going to see them again either. Grimsby also explains how they had all been able to survive in the mansion for so long by feasting on the memories remaining in the mansion, and how soon they were going to have no more memories left to sustain themselves with. Having an idea on how to give the ghost types a place where they can be happy, Ralph tries to suggest to Mr. Baggs and Grimsby that they could take them back to Savanntown and let them be a part of the daycare, where they could live out their days happily entertaining children. Grimsby sounds hesitant the idea would work, but Ralph assures them that they'd have a better chance of being accepted if Team Cheer were to offer words of approval. Mr. Baggs thanks the team for trying to comfort him, and apologizes for attacking them like he did, explaining how he'd gotten so used to thieves coming in and taking things that it became easy to assume the group were thieves like the Esper. Grimsby promises Mr. Baggs that they would find a way to get Timothy back, and Brooke agrees, vowing to get them back from the Esper. Just gonna pause here for effect. Before anything else, however, the Esper returns and surprisingly hands back the gift box, as well as the poltergeist, saying that the game didn't feel fun anymore before vanishing once more. With the situation beginning to calm down, the others begin to enter the manor, me explaining that they were wanting to check that the team was okay. They look around for the Esper, and after learning that they had vanished, grumble over losing the items they gathered themselves. Grimsby looks towards Mr. Baggs, and asks if they're fine with them all going with them back to Savanntown, to which Mr. Baggs nods. Brooke says that, in that case, the three can go along with V, and the others, V and the others back to Savanntown when morning comes, while Team Cheer and Mawile make their way to investigate the temple. Mr. Baggs tells the party that since they're leaving, the party is alright to take whatever items in the mansion they want. He also asks Tucker to help him with gathering up all of the toys that were in the attic for the children at the daycare. He then looks down at the gift box, then to V, and hands the box back to V, explaining how it was a birthday present that never got opened, and he hopes it'll make V feel better after losing their bag. As he and Tucker leave through the attic, V grumbles about how Mr. Baggs assumed them to be a child, before opening it and seeing a gold-trimmed outfit, complete with a button-up shirt and a collar. He puts them on, and while questioning why someone would give a collar to their child as a birthday present, they exit the manor. With Tucker helping Mr. Baggs with gathering toys, Rida follows the two to assist them, Ralph bantering with Hot Dog about the battle before going to spend some time alone with Mawile. Brooke decides to speak again with the vision of Scales as they sit together in a reading room. He tells Scales that unfortunately he doesn't think that there's much of the Brooke that Scales likely remembers anymore, beyond the obvious physical differences. He explains that he doesn't want to live as his old self anymore, but he doesn't want his memories as her to be gone either, considering how hard Scales worked for Brooke when she and him were traveling together. He begins to tear up and wrap his arms around Scales as he tells him that he was always proud of him, and never blame them for the issues that happened in the past. Scales pulls away, giving Brooke a genuine smile as Brooke can finally hear his voice saying that they'll see each other again one day, before they fade away into specks of light. Ah,
So sweet.
One heck of a recap.
my jaw, it hurts.
Actually, I was thinking to myself, you do so much narration anyways, being DM. Maybe recaps should be rotated out between us players to read. I'm not sure in the future. It's an idea.
Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see. Don't want you overextend yourself after all.
Well, look at it this way. The recaps help me remember what happened.
That's true. They kind of sort of bring that. Also, I'm sorry, I have to pause for a second because I just realized something. So, narratively, during last session at the end of it, Rita went to help with the toys.
I don't recall saying that specifically. Actually, it was
recall that
quite
either.
the opposite, because I remember Rita saw a glimpse of what Brooke was doing before going off to do their own thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Because
That
Tucker...
Yeah.
The RP I did, I hope I didn't forget you, that's all.
No. I think
No,
you're
no.
right. That this might just be one of those instances where it got lost in translation.
Okay.
'Cause,
Andy, could you do an adjustment on that, if you don't mind? I mean, it's not a big deal, but I'm
No.
relieved. I'm relieved.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't recall Rita going with Mr. Bags. I know they glimpsed Brooke talking with Scales before he left. They didn't see the full conversation, just a bit of it. Realizing it was private, they sort of went on their own. And I
Okay.
know at that point they wouldn't want to have been around anyone.
I think what it was Rita went off to like go quote unquote collect stuff.
Yeah.
More
So
yeah.
I think that's what it was, and it may just be that I read it wrong.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Also, I want to ask. I hate asking this. Ralph, did you have something on your description on your sheet?
Let's
No.
It's been accidentally.
Do you want me to reload the table? Did you have something before this?
I don't think I had anything today.
Okay, I realize now why I could definitely be a culprit in doing this. When I share art and then I zoom back to the main table, sometimes I'm clicking your sheet in the process. I did that today. I realized as I swing from the left back to the middle, you're in the way, basically, and I sometimes just... Oh no.
Are you not like using the middle mouse to move stuff?
Oh my god, I didn't know you could do that.
Yes, the middle mouse button when you click it down is how you can move the. That's how
that
I
moves so
the
much
camera.
faster than WASD. Okay, I didn't know this.
I didn't realize y'all were using WASD.
I use WASD.
I was.
I was.
Right click
I
and
just
WASD
zoom
to
out
speed
to
the
move
camera
it
around.
faster.
Oh my
Alright.
gosh!
I will start using middle mouse click to save to avoid this error in the future.
It's
Oh,
getting
that's
7 years old.
Oh gosh.
So
I apologize though if I did.
if you're trying to be cinematic, sure, use WASD. But if you need to get places, use the middle mouse button.
Main thing here is
I always
it's okay.
use arrow keys and
WASD
just zoom in and out to go faster.
The main thing is I sometimes swing the camera with right click while using WASD. That's the bad thing. That's where I can click on something and then delete it.
So
like
another note while we're on that, if you click the middle button, it will zoom you in a set distance, and if you click it again, it'll zoom you back out.
to what you were at before?
Yeah.
Oh, neat. Oh, okay, cool.
Space also resets your camera to the center of the table.
And yeah, it also re-rotates it.
Yes.
So
And as Mala says, you can use the notebook to write stuff down, which I know y'all have been.
yeah.
That's what I do.
I'll make sure. Yeah, that's a good idea, honestly. Also, I was sharing the art, and I wanted to let you, Car, go ahead and comment on the two pieces you did, if you wanted to.
Yeah, so, they aren't perfect, but I also, did them in a very short period of time. Yes, this one currently is a doodle of Timothy. They are not a normal poltergeist. Part of the original concept is that when they are in attack mode, the entire thing breaks into fragments and they look a whole lot spookier.
Ooh. I just noticed that there's a face on the pot.
Yes, there is. It's a very heartless looking design.
Yes.
I realized after I made it, but I'm totally okay with that.
I think it works quite well. And then I also just like the teapot design. It's very unique. On the flip side too, so this is officially what he looks like, right, Mr. Banks?
It's
Or
what
close to it?
it's what he would have looked like if you guys had gotten the fight far enough.
Hmm.
I'm not entirely happy with this. I know I screwed up the legs and I didn't do like the twisting cloth thing very well. But yeah, originally Mr. Bags was a Zangoose plushie, which is supposed to be a reference to Ricky Tikki Tavi.
Mhm.
The whole thing is a reference to the Ricky Tikki Tavi animated thing. Even the enemies in the gardens.
So I'm guessing that while this is like his more combat evolved form, I assume he still looks like a Zangoose in his more neutral form. In his more
No,
peaceful form.
he
Oh, he doesn't.
looks like a Bayonet. This
Oh,
is what
okay.
would have happened if he had gone Mega.
So he actually does look like a proper beta. It's just this is what happens if the
Yes.
beta form happens. Ah, okay.
I explained it at the
never
end.
got to see.
I explained it at the end of last session, but part of the reason why he is just a Bayonet now, why Mr. Bags is just a Bayonet, is entirely due to their own perception of their self. It may or may not also have something to do with corruption, but who knows? Y'all never had to fight the worst parts of corruption, which is a good thing, because he had a very nasty lethal move.
Oh yeah. I imagine
Is-
I mean corruption. There's a lot of like long-lasting effects you could do that.
Yes, anyone who wants to know the stats and moves that Mr. Bags had can always look in the behind-the-scenes channel. Because I
And-
put in the cheats.
I should also note that if you go over to the Pokerole server, you can also check out Players Canon RP for some additional lore that is indeed within the canon of the game that happens. Tucker and Brooke had a nice one, though Tucker keeps wanting to apologize for the somewhat messy structure he did. But that was his first RP. I think he did fine. It's quite nice. It's a cute
I
RP.
thought it was great.
Yeah, I'm glad. He's glad too. And also, it's worth pointing out that the RP was good enough, at least, that Carr agreed with your suggestion, Kyrio. Tucker gets a logic point?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah, a whole logic point. So read those RPs, guys. I'm not going to discuss it here since that would take too long. But-
Oh, I didn't realize Brooke's logic was only 2. Yeah, Brooke, you can also get a logic point. I thought you had more than that.
Oh yeah, it's been 2 since I evolved.
You guys are big brain now.
Big brain.
Yes.
We're all getting smart.
Something memories. Right then.
Tucker had a number of memory rememberings. That's a weird word sentence. All right.
Let's see here.
Very good. And I assume, as we have technically rested, will restoration of will and HP?
Yes,
Yay, we get to take a long rest.
you do. And I'm
Imagine
just-
taking damage.
Imagine taking damage, peasants. We're gonna go to
Most of my
events.
damage was self-inflicted.
I mean, yeah, but it makes you stronger.
It does.
We don't have to keep that art up, by the way, if you don't want.
You can always put it in the DM bag or so if you'd like.
That's true.
I think it's nice. I think it's pretty. But, yeah.
All right, I've got stuff in the DM bag for later.
Put that in there for you.
But
You were
yeah,
saying events too.
yes, events 2 number 3.
Okay.
Because we're going to start off with Dream Time.
Oi.
Yay.
Go.
Before I do that, I don't think you need to include the canon RP stuff into the recaps, NEO. Much as that is appreciable.
Oh, that's kind. You don't have to. No. I think it's bonus content personally. You don't need it to enjoy the main story. It's just there. But I will call out on the table like, oh, this RP has affected this stat. I will call that out so that people are informed. But yeah, if you want to actually know why that stat is added, why Tucker has got a logic point, well, go check out the Pokerole server. It'll be there. And we will, like, maintain that post-game, too. Like, there's no reason not to. You guys could always go read that. Now, at the end of the game, maybe we could add all the players can RP stuff to the wiki. That might be a good idea. But I wouldn't worry about it right now.
Also, Wolf Mage, I think I know what you're referring to. Unfortunately, it looks very incomplete. I do not...
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's... I have an art folder. I don't know what he's talking about, so...
It was posted today.
Oh, yeah, well, if it was posted today, then I would not have seen it yet. Maybe next time. Maybe it's more finished, too.
In any case, let's see. Who shall I start with? Alright, you know what? We'll start with you, Rhina.
Panic. Okay.
Aw, Panic, why?
Oh, I'm going to add to the cart the toys.
Ah, yes. Yes, when everyone lays down to rest. Rhina. You find yourself dreaming. You're younger. And you're with two others. Another young Pokemon. And one that is older. The Pokemon at your side. The one that is about your age. You remember that they were stronger. They were always the stronger between the two of you. The older one, much larger than the both of you, gestures to a door across the room. It's a room of stone. The door is nice. In fact, it has worked metal. Even for a handle. Today, I would like to introduce you to something very important. You will be certain words lose their meaning for you. Like static, muffling. Features of these shades are missing. The Pokemon at your side is a static silhouette, and the larger one before you is cast in constant shadow. The door opens. Another Pokemon walks through. You know them, but their face is like a hole punched through glass. You know them, but you don't. And you awaken far earlier than anyone else.
Well, in that situation, Rhina would probably wake up sort of reaching outward towards where the figure would have been for them in that moment, before sort of reaching their arm back down, realizing that it was just a dream. And as they sort of sit up and look around, they briskly like wipe their face and look at their hand, seeing that it's a little wet from tears, and clear their face before going back to their straightened demeanor. And at this point, they're not going back to sleep, and they're just going to go outside alone.
It's still dark out. The sun hasn't quite come up yet, but you can see the lightning on the horizon, slow though it may be. But the air is fresh. Maybe the mostly
Stairs
frozen
to
chunks.
the mansion.
I'm sorry?
Oh, sorry. I didn't. I thought you finished.
No. What were you saying? I missed it.
No, I was just saying how Ryder would have just sat on the porch or
Ah, okay. I was just going to finish off with a comment about how the fresh air probably feels nice. Who do I pick next? No!
Well, my scene's done. Time to leave.
Go ahead and save.
Why
that
is it
table.
always during
Yes.
Ryder scenes? Do the
Indeed.
internet want to be funky?
Let's see, are we still in November? We're still in November. I'm brain. Okay.
Sorry,
November.
you guys cut out for me for a few seconds, so I don't
Ooh.
know what was said.
Okay, that was definitely a you and not a server.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
definitely on my end. It just, I don't know. Guess internet blip.
Don't worry, I've been having fun
Apologies.
with that too. It's
Oh,
okay.
let's see.
So did you catch the end of what Car said?
I did not.
Oh no.
My parting comment was that the fresh air probably feels nice, especially given the chunk of frozen garden that's still there.
Brisk.
Nice.
Oh, let's see, where is it? Ah. No. We're going to move to Events 2, number 17. And we're going to shift over to Ralph.
Oh.
Oh, yes. It's been some time since Ralph has had a dream. Well, aside from his usual ones about Mawile. Just to confirm that you are there, Ralph?
Cricket.
Or at least functionally able to respond.
Seems that we'll have to give him a moment.
That is okay. We can stay on this music and swap to Tucker until Tubby is back.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I didn't go anywhere.
Oh,
hi.
okay.
Then you should
I'm-
say so.
I wanted to confirm that you were able to respond because I was going to do your dream thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That's me.
I assume you were unable to hear me.
Oh no, I don't know. I was right here. I mean, I don't know what the heck.
Hi, your mic must have had an issue too.
Okay. I apologize then. So, Ralph, you sleep, comfortable with your dear Mawile nearby. It's nice after the strangeness of the estate. Unfortunately, the familiarity of sleep is soon lost upon you, replaced by the sensation of lucid dreaming. Pulsating auroral roots meet your vision, drawing it up to the site of probability, the great branching tree with a singularity humming in unsilence at its core. Technique transcription, 87%. Welcome, host. The alien-minded concept addresses you, harmonic, multi-layered tones resonating in your very being. Compared to discordant static, it is like a symphony.
Yes, is the dream you had sent me in DMs that I've had time to contemplate, but not really come to any answers.
Indeed.
57%. What happens when I reach 100?
Acquisition of technique.
I suppose I acquire the technique at 100%.
Correct. Ours is a vital power to change, such as we are related to that aspect.
It's change probability to change what might happen.
Insomuch, we are related to corruption. Corruption is change, decay, augmentation. From a singularity, many realities are born. To you who would play upon the branches of fate, such would it be that you are keystone.
Hang on the branches of fate like some sort of big fat squirrel.
Query, O vessel mine. The colors of the tree shift and pulsate. Rather than being drawn in, light begins to pulse outward, like great rivers, branching again and again, away from the singularity. What will you do?
That's a good question. I guess that's the right question, isn't it? Okay, what will I do with this? Yeah. This power, this whatever this is.
Vessel has reached the point of self-question.
There's one thing that's not a question. I know where I want it to end. All I gotta do is figure out how to get there.
This answer of your resolve is acceptable. Technique acquisition, 88%.
This isn't something that's just happening over time. I'm somehow earning this.
Earned, learned, or gained. All things take time, even time. Already, you are wary of the one that flaunts this law. Do not forget. The light begins to recede. Rest, host. We will return.
I hope I'm a gracious host. To your liking.
The light recedes until only the singularity remains. Like a sphere or an eye, it seems to pulse and ripple as if with laughter.
Hey, next time remind me, I'll lay out some chips in my brain for you to enjoy.
Our first host, one and only. Destined and always different. A pleasing and luxurious thing. We are grateful for this opportunity.
I sort of nod in the dream space as best I can. I'm curious, huh? Well, I guess I'm doing something right.
You get the sense there is some other comment, but sleep, true sleep, begins to draw in again, muffling any further response. It seems your aspect has left you to rest.
To be fair, conversing with me, even if you're some sort of otherworldly entity, is probably exhausting.
I mean, you say that, but then you start lucid dreaming about Mawile.
hastily spray paints the screen black. like hastily closing tabs. Like
But we will. But in the best way.
Yes, obviously. Enjoy your incognito mode.
Open in private tab. And next is Tucker. Tucker, your memory is clearer than you remember them being. Less crayon doodles and chalk scribblings. A little more precise. Colored pencil is a good analogy. Still a bit scratchy around the edges. And some of it is smudged and blurred. Like it's harder to recall. You remember a room. Your room. There's a window beside your bed where you're able to look outside to see the sun, the rain, to see the night, to see the Pokemon on the ranch. Speaking of rain, I think there was just a rumble outside. Anyway. You remember feeling warm. Warmer than you're supposed to feel. There are adults coming and going from your room. They're taking your temperature. They're bringing you a tray of soup with water. There's one. You think they're mother? They're always worried now. But the only thing that you can think about is wanting to go outside again. And then, one night, There's something in your window. It's a person. You think? They look like a person. They're so well dressed. And through their window, they offer you a hand. And promise to make you better. And now you awaken.
Tucker wakes with an unsettling confusion as these thoughts, blurry already as they were a dream, are both new and old to him. He spends a little time by himself, seeing if he can remember anything further. But there's more questions than answers. What was he sick with? He can't remember this. Something was wrong, though.
As for you, Brooke, there is a memory that tugs at you, even in sleep. You and Scales are sneaking around, but you distinctly know this is after you had left a certain organization. There's somebody with you. A friend. Someone that promised to help you make amends, if that was really what you wanted to try and do. They wore a lab coat. And you can remember their skin, like darkened bronze. They had a gentle voice. They were kind. But here in the brush, they're hushed. They're afraid. You remember people had been going missing, and they wanted your help. Just before you wake up, Scales holds her hand.
um, I think Brooke would find that memory to be comforting in a way, but also his first instinct is to tuck it away and not think too hard about it.
Morning comes perhaps a bit slowly for some of you. For others, it has come too early. But eventually, V and the rest of your eclectic and now having grown a bit troop awaken, with more than a few preparing to head back to Savan Town.
Tucker does set himself apart for a little while. With both recollection the night before and in his sleep, there's a bit weighing on his mind. Fortunately, the mansion has its space, so it's unlikely anybody even notices he's taking a bit of time to himself. But he eventually does join back into the foyer, the lowest likely place to meet up with everyone, if not outside in the courtyard.
And what of the rest of you? What are you all doing as morning crests and preparations are underway?
Probably give Mawile a peck on the cheek. Stretch myself awake. Wonder the nature of my existence and what exactly I might be acquiring. 100%. I do have one thought that I think Ralph would have in character. Because he recalls near when he first got the ability, his abilities. They gave him a one-time use of optimal choice where he uses metronome and it gives him the best move he could possibly get.
Yep.
I was wondering, what if I get that? It's really powerful, but from the tone of their voice, I'm getting something even more so, like even more meaningful. Definitely going to study the faces of the others when they wake up to see if they also have that. I just woke up from a cutscene type look on their face.
I can certainly comment in saying that Tucker's not the best at hiding his emotions. He's gonna be clearly a bit in his own thoughts and have a bit of a furrowed brow. Something's probably bothering him a bit. That's what you can notice.
Indeed. How you doing, Tut? I suppose you also had one of those weird, fuzzy dreams.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Not as fuzzy as they used to be.
Across my arms. Yeah, they're getting clear. Gonna have a whole conversation with whatever is haunting mine. Haunting even I don't know.
Tucker seems to think for a moment, opening his mouth and then kind of closing it before opening it again, seeming like he might want to talk about something, but not right now. I've been recollecting more. It used to be just feelings, my past, but I had a good talk with Brooke last night and remembered a few things, and then I remembered more when I was sleeping. But it's also kind of making me more confused, I guess, too.
See. Yeah, I certainly have more questions than answers myself. I have theories, ideas, but nothing concrete yet.
After a moment of pondering, he does reveal a bit more. I think I used to be sick. Like, really sick. Before I was a Pokemon. I don't know much more. Not right now. It's clear that fact that he was sick is putting a weight on his mind. Something that he wants to solve, clearly.
I should note, Ralph, Rida isn't in the room.
Yeah, trade one loner for another. Well, not exactly a loner, but a sneaker offer.
After a
Fortunately,
moment of
Rida isn't one to go off and get herself into trouble. Like, anytime you lose visual contact, with Riley, you'd have to worry, oh shit, he's gonna get the team in trouble, isn't he? It's my job.
After a moment, Tucker will kind of break the silence between the two and say, well, at least I'm not sick now, right? I guess it's not a big deal. And Tucker does kind of seem to try to put the thoughts out of his mind for now, kind of try to cheer up a bit.
Yeah, I suppose we'll see where this is going when it gets there.
He nods.
Stretch a bit. Wait, be sooner than later for me. My creature memory. I don't know. It told me I was at 88%. I presume something happens when I reach 100%.
Tucker kind of tilts his head. Hopefully something good.
I think so. I think I get something. I look at my hands. Some new power or ability. It seems like it's something significant if I have to earn it. You know, he looks back. I look back up a little bit. 1% at a time, presumably. So it's something big.
Any idea what makes you earn it?
Think a moment. Not sure. It told me I was at 87%. It asked me what I would do. It's a good question. And I told it that I didn't know. But I know where I want to end up. I know how I want it. I know how I want my story to conclude. And I look over towards where Mawile's still sleeping. I just have to figure out how to get there. But I do know the ending of my story, or what I want it to be, and I raise like one little Snorlax fist and look back at Tucker. I want it to end with, and they lived happily ever after.
Tucker looks towards Mawile as well when you do, Ralph, and he has a blank expression for a second before there's a moment of insight, and he sort of just nods like, oh, and he does understand at that point. I hope we can get there, Ralph. All of us. Whatever happily ever after means for all of us. I admit I haven't figured out my path completely yet. Kyrio says, I think you respond to your certainty, its probability, so collapse the wave function.
How dare you reveal secrets?
It is very clear that Ralph is
Yes.
far more certain than Tucker is, at least.
Makes sense. Ralph is significantly older, and he's had logic for a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he's had much more of the picture for a lot longer time. Not enough to figure out what the hell's going on, but he's working with more puzzle pieces.
Also, I just want to note out of character that so I know some of you players have had little RP or DM comments with with our DM. Tucker and me were not aware of the sickness thing until just now. Actually, I had to stand in for Tucker's thoughts because he was a little bit speechless upon learning that, actually. Not in a bad way, mind you. Just, this is quite a revelation.
I did warn you. I just didn't give you detail.
No, it's preferred that way. Far more organic response.
I don't know anything about my past other than a few things.
Things that you have decided, and I get to play with.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fun.
Yes, very. Just give a few little crumbs of detail and let the storyteller paint the rest. It's wonderful.
Don't worry.
I've actually given a lot of specific, well thought out details of my backstory. I just love writing a backstory.
Fair. Very fair.
Tucker would express, though, that this revelation actually managed to fit puzzle pieces together that he hadn't been able to think about. So I'm not even sure what that means exactly, but again, good storytelling. But Brooke and Ryda, how about your wake-ups?
So, for Ryda, they aren't doing anything noticeable other than sitting there and staring off into the distance until someone, snaps them out of their daze.
Right, they were up first, right?
Mm-hmm. And they have basically not moved from the position they sat at since.
Just watching the sunrise.
I'm gonna stand behind them, try to look at what they're looking at.
I think Brooke's first priority at the moment will be to find Hot Dog so he can talk to him about escorting V home.
Mm-hmm. Also, I
Hot
guess
dog.
I played Scales Way, just so you know.
Oh, yeah.
Sadly.
He's
Technically,
gone now.
why you gotta go and make me sad? It's okay. He's gone now. But Hot Dog is already getting hooked up to the cart. He's tired. Looks like he needs a morning coffee. V also looks tired, like they need a morning coffee. But they are currently trying to hook Hot Dog up to the cart, which is overflowing with stuff.
Right.
Please don't do that. It's contagious.
Oh yeah, you'll fall asleep in 2 turns.
I knew that was coming, and I still did it.
Brooke appears to be his normal self. Doesn't seem to have lost any sleep. Or even that he had an emotional talk the night before. If Tucker's bad at hiding his feelings, Brooke is an expert. In fact, he seems a little chipper this morning and asks, "Hey, Hot Dog, you ready for your solo mission?"
I have a solo mission. Looks.
Yep.
Looks down at V.
Well, yeah, you have to escort this fine customer all the way back home.
Blank stare, slowly blinks one eye and then the other very tiredly. Wait, are you telling me to escort V all the way back to Sea Spray?
You can probably stop at Savantown.
But then who's going to help me get all this crap back to Sea Spray?
We have an entire guild full of people who can do that for you.
Hot Dog looks relieved and also smirks at V. Any
You paid
other
us-
one?
You paid us for an escort to the mansion and back. We started from Savantown.
Just holding up a paw, making a face, lowers paw. I should have made a better contract.
Did
Brooke
you tell the
grins.
terms, V?
Besides, Hot Dog's been run ragged enough. I think he deserves a break.
I mean, don't give me too much vacation, boss man. Because, like, if you got any other orders for me after I get back, I'll take them.
Brooke thinks for a moment. Well, nothing immediately comes to mind. But if anything shows up on our doorstep, feel free to take it.
Yes.
Starting an empire.
I guess I'll have to hire someone else to help me get this entire cart back. I'll spare you the dramatics of pretending like I'm not strong enough to carry half of this stuff. But, since I don't exactly have the money on me at the moment, I will be sure to send the payment to your clubhouse.
Much appreciated.
Hope you guys have a safe.
We have a puppy.
Close enough. Given they nearly made me a chew toy. Oh god, I suddenly imagine V getting caught by Puppy and then getting shook around and squeaked. Well, this didn't quite go as I hoped, but thank you. Preemptive, since I'm not back in Savantown yet, but thank you. Overall,
sure-
I'd say this was successful.
I'm sure the trip back will be mostly uneventful. This guy was a gladiator, you know.
Top notch. Says the dog that I hear was caught by a salazzle. I dignify you with no response. V smirks. But I'm sure with 3 ghosts and a hot dog and me, I'm sure we'll be fine.
You're negative points. I'm kidding you.
I mean, V technically has an aspect wielder with him. I think he'll be fine.
Brooke will salute to Hot Dog and say, "He's all yours."
Don't get into too much trouble without my help.
Oh, you know we will.
At least I'll be away from it this time. He smiles wryly.
And with that, Brooke will head to his team.
Mhm. Oh, Tucker will probably say a few parting words to the ghosts. Nothing distinct, just giving them well wishes and, you know, just to take things easy.
They're looking a lot happier today. They're all sort of like seated on the cart. I mean, they're mostly weightless, so it doesn't matter. They're not being unhelpful, sort of. Bags is sort of kicking his legs like a kid does when they're on a chair that's too high for them.
Tucker does note to, if they need any help, to listen to Hot Dog in the meantime. Since, I think they're going to be one of the major authority figures at the base at the time.
Unless Zeal's there. But you shouldn't listen to Zeal.
I was going to say, like, wait, why is that an option?
He is technically higher on the chain of command, though.
I guess you're right.
You know, it's been a while since I've seen him around. I wonder if he's still at the cave, or if, like, his dad called him back or something.
I think last time we saw him was when we dumped ourselves in the cave with Eternatus. But yeah, I haven't heard from him since.
Me having a quiet DM panic moment like, wait, did Zeal get left behind? No, that's not possible. I'm not that stupid.
I'm spinning my wheels as well. I'm trying to remember, like, hey, when was the last time I saw him?
No, he made it back. I think there's been more than plenty of implication that they are just, like, at the Cave of Mirrors still.
I mean...
Or they were for a good long time.
They have a motivation to be there, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, their buddy Kokomo.
Hakamo.
Yeah.
Also, shh. Zeal is too himbo to realize that it is a crush and/or an elongated date. Anyway.
I guess I will also do one little note that when Brooke sees Tucker, again, it's clear that Tucker has a little slight on his mind, but it's notable that he doesn't really address that to Brooke, and does just, much in the Brooke sort of way, turn more chipper when he sees Brooke. Of course, this was after he talked to Ralph, so he's feeling a little bit better getting something off his chest. But notably, he doesn't seem interested in getting that off his chest with Brooke right now.
Brooke will wave to them, say, hey guys, how's it going?
Slept well enough, I guess. Hope you guys did. He does, however, kind of observe Brooke's attitude and does see that, you know, he's being chipper, so he accepts that for now. After their heart-to-heart last night, I wanted to make sure Brooke wasn't doing too badly.
I assume Ryda is outside still.
Yep.
Basically, just stay on the porch until somebody actually bothers them to do something else, if I recall.
I think he will ask, has anyone seen Ryda at this point?
I'm gonna guess Tucker probably wandered outside with the ghosts, since they're all going to be leaving, and they have now left. So
Peering in the same direction as Ryder, trying to look at whatever she's looking at.
I was gonna say, didn't Ralph just stand behind right?
Yeah.
Ralph knows.
Yeah, and Ryda hasn't noticed Ralph.
Oh yeah, max sneak.
Tucker will relate to Brooke. I think she's. I think they're outside.
Brooke will nod.
Oh, I have a brilliant idea.
He'll head that direction.
What if I clap my hands as loudly and suddenly as I can right behind her head?
I didn't realize you hated having hands.
As sneaky as I can, as loudly and as suddenly as possible right behind.
Are you actually gonna try that?
Yeah, can I roll it as an intimidate roll?
First, give me a dex survival stealth. Versus...
Can that get a bonus for Ralph on his stealth check since Ryda isn't paying attention?
Oh, that hard, huh? Okay.
Sure.
How many is it?
What am I rolling?
You are going to roll an Insight Survival Alert. Also, do you want me to read that out, Kyrio?
I was just typing that out, so I didn't interrupt.
Okay. Yeah, because Brooke is asking Tucker to let
let's
Liar know they're about ready.
let the roll.
Yep, that's about right.
Okay.
Oh boy.
My goodness.
Ralph sure didn't need that bonus to stealth. Hey Ralph, go ahead and do a tough contest intimidate.
Anytime I'm around Ralph's sheet, I'm using middle click. There.
On something high. Yeah.
That is high.
My God.
We're gonna count that as 8 successes.
Ryder has a heart attack and dies.
Hey Rita, it's like a thunderclap in your ears, but also your horns.
Ryda clenches their head and teleports a few feet forward, stumbling onto the ground.
That's so mean.
Oh, I love everything.
So mean. I'm imagining during this, I think Brooke should read his line. I feel like this is happening right before this, right?
Yeah. We're getting ready to head out. Could you let Mawel and Lyre know?
Brooke will ask Tucker. Tucker will respond, "Oh yeah, sure," and head off another direction into the house to go find them. Though he stumbles and like shudders for a second when there's a boom outside. He turns in concern and expresses, "You should check that," and continues to go look for Mawel and Lyre, looking concerned as he goes.
Brooke will just kind of nod, yeah, probably.
Oh,
Well, at least I don't have to look for Ralph.
Yeah, Ralph's laughing hysterically outside.
Poor Rita.
As an aside, I love when I roll high on stupid bullshit shenanigans.
His ears were sensitive. He may have been indoors, but still they gave him a shook. How rude.
How do you think Ryda felt? Having
Yeah.
right next to them.
What is Ryda feeling? Is
So they're definitely on the ground still, clutching their head. And they sort of like lift slightly, looking towards Ralph. Like squinty-eyed, like, ow, that hurt.
Oh gosh.
That is a headache that won't be going away for a while.
I'm gonna check and make sure I didn't like legitimately damage her. Help her up. You okay? I just meant to give you a good spook.
They get up and sort of dust themselves off as they look towards you. I suppose that is what happens when you are too distracted. They say as you hear the faint sound of their horn crackling with static.
Yeah, so you could think of it as the training exercise. If you don't want to think of it as a hilarious prank.
Right.
He looks up, oh, did you have a weird dream last night too? Yeah, I think we all did.
I forgot to ask.
Right, go ahead.
Sorry, I forgot to ask, but did you change the music charm?
if you don't ask it, it doesn't change.
No, it's been the clockwork thing the whole time. No,
Yes.
it's supposed to be number 27. I changed it and I forgot to tell you.
All right.
no.
Fair enough.
Totally the wrong mood for everything.
It's okay. I mean, we were still having little discussions about those dreams, huh? Well, so I think it's not terribly unfitting. It's okay.
No, I forgot to tell you. Sorry, proceed.
There we go.
Right,
It's on
right. I was asked about the dream.
Yes.
At the mention of that, they sort of look down towards the ground once more, clenching their arm. There was an interesting dream, yes.
Well, you don't seem too much like you want to talk about it, so I won't press you. As he kind of stretches. You better get going anyways.
Very well then. And they'll just head towards the house, not even giving you a glance.
Brooke is here.
Yay!
Yay.
I'll basically say, everything all right out here?
It's fine.
What was that loud noise I just heard?
I snuck up behind her. I was trying to look at what they were looking at as like a visual gag, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they don't know I'm standing right here. So I clapped my hands together as loudly as I could. They got really spooked. It was hilarious.
Ralph, please don't traumatize fellow team members.
You got it, boss.
Brooke will kind of look at Ryda and try and catch the vibe, I guess.
You can see that they are trying to avert looking directly into your eyes, just sort of looking lower down on your face, still trying to like show, yep, I'm paying attention, but also I don't wish to be perceived at the moment.
Brooke is hella perceiving Ryda right now. You doing alright there, Ryda?
I suppose.
What's on your mind?
They hesitate for an uncomfortable amount of time. It's nothing much, just a decision that I've been thinking of recently.
Brooke will nod. Alright. We don't have to talk about it now. But it is important for teamwork that we're all honest with each other. So, when you get the chance, let me know what's up.
Very well, Miss Brooke.
Brooke will step aside and let Ryda go.
They just enter into the house, trying not to cause any more fuss.
Brooke will look to Ralph and say, I wonder what that was about.
I don't know. But they seem to not really want to talk about it, so I'm not going to dig where there's no stumbles around.
Brooke just hums.
They might talk to you about it, with everyone else out of earshot. Maybe.
I sure hope so. Anyway, we're about to head out.
Aye, aye, Captain.
You should ask Mawal where we're headed.
Yes, good call. I'll go inside and gently nudge her like.
Oh, Mawil's been awake for a while now.
Okay.
Tucker
Okay.
actually.
Excellent.
the two of them.
I will go and get it. Alrighty. Beautiful. Your mission is up next. Want to unfurl the map. Alright, it was around here, yeah?
Sort of. You still have a ways to go. She pulls out a compass. To the northeast.
Northeast, gotcha.
It should only take us a day and a half? 2 days? Especially now that we're not slowed down.
Yeah, smaller group, go faster.
Also, no cards, no possessions, no possessing ghosts with us.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't have to like stop and tease V every, couple 100 feet, which is a requirement.
Oh, is it? So that's one of the requirements with you as an escort, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's just so fun to tease. Yeah. Alright, so there's... Yeah, I can't think of any reason to not just go straight across. Yeah, it must look flat, right?
While just sort of leaving the house with everyone when time permits, along with Lyre. This has been fun, but not exactly historically interesting.
Yeah, the house is old, but not old enough to be archaeology.
The closest thing to archaeology is that statue you found. Even that's not that old.
Yeah, so head out and essentially brief Brooke on where it is. And that we're headed northeast. Let's see, in between Astor Rock and the nut tops in the tree. Fun nut tops. They're hilarious.
That you haven't seen or heard from since last you were there.
What way have we not heard from?
Team Gallant.
Ah, yes, that's true.
Yeah, so yeah.
They went on a mission over a month ago.
But yeah, well, yeah. I'm ready to head out if Buck is ready to leave.
Yeah. Tucker stole from them. Thieving like a true dark... Well, I guess technically that's true. I can't really disagree with that statement. Was for a good reason, though. At least Tucker feels it is. But yeah, Tucker goes with the other trio back outside, having completed his little retrieval mission.
Now that everyone is gone, Brooke will take one last look at the mansion with a forlorn expression before taking a deep breath and sitting on the doorstep to wait for everyone else, which does not take long.
Yep.
Now then. Meanwhile, with their trusty compass, will happily begin leading Team Cheer on the way back towards the muted glade.
By the way, how's Lyre?
Lyre seems fine. They were mostly unaffected by the nonsense in the mansion.
They were just fine the whole time. Just figured I'd ask because we haven't had a line about them yet.
Sweet bean.
Yeah, it's past time for them to already have been collected and nothing has happened, so they've just reached a point of, okay, it could happen at any time, but also it hasn't happened, so...
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not going to continue to hold.
That's you're cutting out a little bit. Oh no. Table save time. 1 second. Oh no. I wonder. Listen, I had internet issues last night, so stream, are you good?
Make sure.
Okay, good.
Thank you for letting me know. It's them that's the problem. Okay, just making sure.
Discord.
It sounds like Discord is blowing up. Let me go check. Yeah, it does look really shit. I'm gonna try disconnecting from the call and reconnecting to it. Okay, disconnecting to reconnecting seems to have stabilized me.
No, I disconnected and reconnected, and it was still red. I think it's just stopped working.
Okay. Maybe
And I'm bouncing between green and yellow now.
Okay, you guys sound like legible now, so maybe the connections have petered down.
Yeah.
Well, that was weird.
That was extremely bad. So, Car, your explanation of it ended around the time has been reached for Lyre and everything seems fine. After that, that's when everything went robo.
Oh. Well,
that was the Eternatus interfering. No.
Yeah, I guess. Basically,
it is time.
Basically, Lyre's like, okay, I can't stress out about this anymore. If I keep stressing about it, then I'm gonna be too focused on it to aromatherapy one of the team if they suddenly eat something and start dying of being poisoned.
That would make do that? Worse.
Oh man. So yeah, that little. I know this isn't about anything, but the little GIF that Beers posted in the DM of the little plushie being eaten. I have a plushie of that, of the little substitute guy. And it looks just like that. Yeah, it's green, looks just like that.
Oh, I'll put that in the chat for a second. Beer shared a little clip for the anime, which Puppy plus V moment. That's that here. There you go. That's very cute.
I have an IRL exactly of that plush. It's cute. I love it.
So, I do have a question, and I know that Kyrio isn't back yet. Would you like me to abstract the travel, as there's not anything terribly interesting that is going to be happening over the next period of time before you reach your destination?
I'm gonna say yeah.
I agree. I just had one question. Would the Gallantry or Astarock be visible during our travels in the distance?
So, from the estate, and especially leaving the estate in a northeastern direction, you would be able to see Astarock on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
It's this truly monumental mesa that's just off in the distance.
I'm blanking if we had any goals to go there at any point, or if we're aware it exists.
You are aware it exists. It is a landmark and seems to be of some import on the continent, maybe? Not that anyone has ever, sent you there. It's just this big centralized landmark that's really easy to get your bearings from.
Tucker will note that it stays on our left then. He'll denote its existence, so if he ever needs to go back there or go over that direction, he'll know where it is, generally.
Gallantry might be a slightly harder ask, but that's because it's this big brown structure and it's close to, the field of like reeds and whatnot.
I also presume Astaroth is taller.
Yes, by a very large margin. The gallantry is like a 3-story house at best. The Astaroth is a skyscraper.
The gallantry is impressive for itself, but it's not horizon in the distance visible, not unless you're really close. Yeah, that was my only question for the travels. Otherwise, yeah, abstraction, completely fine.
I have no issue with it. Ryda is pretty much staying silent unless asked something anyway, so...
It's 2 days, you guys get to, like, contemplate and perhaps talk amongst each other.
Yeah. Tucker will probably keep things to himself more or less as far as his recent dreams, and his conversation with Brooke is also something he keeps pretty private. I mean, he didn't even bring that up to Ralph. He just brought up his dreams to Ralph. Ralph's the only one that will stay in the know on that. I guess one thing that might happen during these 2 days is Tucker may make use of that net snare. See if they can get some food out of that.
You'll be able to. You can roll if you want, but you guys are at the point of strength where most of the wild Pokemon in this area are of no threat to you.
That is quite fair.
How you
Honestly,
know you've started reaching the late game. Random foes are of no consequence.
Tucker will probably mix both the net snare and actual like direct hunting to just get some food together for their travels. He will probably incidentally consume the rest of the strawberries also. I should probably remove that item.
Yes, you can delete that item.
But yeah. I guess what would I roll for a Girol hunting? That would be just to see how it does.
Insight, survival, nature.
Okay. Let's see how the Girol hunting goes. All right. It's not too shabby.
Go ahead and roll that for me another time.
Okay. Let me just double check how many dice that was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, that is 9. Okay. Nice.
Oh, okay. The dice have decided that because you are not doing something truly important, you're going to do really well.
I actually think that makes narrative sense. Tucker is sort of also testing out his bigger, more capable body, honestly, too. He probably could run down prey a lot easier in this new evolved form. So those rolls feel diegetic to that.
Longer legs, stronger muscles, bigger teeth.
Indeed. And he's already had the hunting training experience and mentality before, but now he has the body to really match it, so I would imagine the group gets some decent meat to eat during the travels.
Suppose one thing of note on Ryda's end is they would be seeming to, on occasion, Tucker will catch them just glancing at them.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
With a look of, what does it have? Is there any emotion whatsoever to those glances?
Just their normal bland expression, but Tucker will notice that Ryda's definitely looking at them a lot more than usual.
Is there anything that seems
without
to motivate
saying
the looks,
any of
or is
it?
just
sort of
kind of randomly?
Yeah.
Tucker will probably, assuming that one of the nights that we are resting, probably Tucker will take a moment to approach Ryda about that and express, notice you've been kind of eyeing me up here and there. Did you want to talk about something?
Apologies if my gaze were rude. Merely thinking.
He shakes his head. Not rude, just made me curious.
I was contemplating asking you something.
Tucker tilts his head, and he looks receptive.
You tend to be emotional. And so I considered asking you for your input on a decision.
Yeah, I guess you could say I am. He kind of chuckles a little bit. What kind of decision?
It's one that has grown more prominent lately. Part of me considers the words you and Brooke spoke of, to leave behind the old memories that once were and to move forward making new ones.
I'm actually trying to recall Tucker's involvement in that statement.
It was when you guys are trying to calm down Mr. Baggs.
Oh, I see. That's a good point. Tucker, Tucker does nod. Well, yeah, you do need to move forward. Even when it's hard to sometimes. I know how that is. That's why I spoke up to Mr. Baggs.
Indeed. On the one hand, I believe that is a valid response. However, there is another part of me that shrieks and thrashes against the idea. My past desperately clawing to be remembered, only for it to be met with confusion and distortion. A madness that brings me much anguish in how my mind is desperately trying to put things together that aren't there.
Tucker thinks about that for a second, admittedly taking a little longer to wrap his head around some of the words Ryder uses. But he does get it, and does a small nod. Sounds like you have, well, pain, and sometimes it's not possible to move forward until you can work on that pain, I think.
Hello. Sorry.
Hello.
Come back.
Is Tucker done?
Context.
I was trying to think if we'll recap to you in a minute, Brooke. Tucker thinks for a second and finishes the statement by saying, "I'm not sure I can exactly help you with all the pain that you feel, but well, it sounds like it wants to be heard and sorted out. Maybe that's why you feel the way you do."
Ryder thinks for a moment, lowering their head. And you hear the faint static crackling from their horn, and see a tiny smile grow across their face. I've started to wonder if it would be better to fully forget my past, to perhaps damage myself enough that the anguish fixes itself. Their expression returns to its normal, neutral state. Though realistically, I know that is unwise, and it would be better to try and remember or move on instead.
Tucker's expression changes the moment the writer mentions self-damage. And as Ryder finishes the statement, Tucker will, rather uncharacteristically for his interactions, Ryder, put a paw on Ryder's shoulder. No, don't do that. The past can hurt, but, well, it's kind of funny, because I can't remember my whole past, but I want to figure it out, even when sometimes learning things can make me feel pain, it's still better to remember when I can. That much I know. So, no, please don't try to rid yourself of yourself. Because your past and present and future, that's all you. And it's all worth something, even if it hurts sometimes.
If only it were that easy to simply flip on a switch and recall the past. As much as I want to, it seems to elude me. Always just around the corner. It's as if I close one eye and I see two realities. One that is true and the other a false echo of once was. I wish for only one reality to be present. At this point, I don't care which.
But maybe they're both realities. They're just disjointed right now. Maybe you can have them together. If you can only, put them together. He kind of breathes for a moment and kind of looks up at the stars. Would you be willing? I could open up a connection with you once we're back at base, because it could be a bit rough. But maybe I can try to help you sort it out.
Perhaps. I suppose you can try to assist.
I can't make any promises. Heck, when I use this ability, I don't even know what's going to happen half the time. But I know that it can do good when I set my mind to it. He nods and commits to the statement, going, "All right then. We'll try when we're back at base, okay?"
Very well.
Okay. To catch you up, Kyrio, we are abstracting the travel because it's like a day and a half / 2 days where nothing much is going to happen. And I assume the conversation is just happening during travel.
Mm-hmm. This would have been one of the nights where Ryda and Tucker talk privately.
Also, Tucker got those roles were for Tucker hunting, basically.
Yes.
It went
And Ryda
well.
apologized for their gaze and if it was rude, and I had to make the joke.
Oh no, there is one point that Wolf made. Yeah, we never resolved the Puchitas. I forgot about that.
I mean, they weren't there.
Did I think, if I recall, after the mansion, they were to go back and practice some of what Tucker had trained them or told them about, right?
I mean, yes.
I think that's where that situation was.
My assumption was that they, after that conversation, and like you guys had gone into the mansion, they would have eventually just gone off and started doing that.
That makes sense. I don't think it was ever explicitly stated, so I wasn't sure.
It was one of those things that was happening in the background.
All right.
Like many, many other things.
Yeah, there was... Beers is correct, though. There wasn't anything that said they left specifically, so it's good to confirm that.
In any case, was there anything that Ralph and or Brooke wanted to do during the trip?
I cannot think of anything terribly important. I got my kind of side trip project completed before we got to the mansion. Can't think of anything. Yeah, nothing comes out of. I'll mostly just be, keeping watch, keeping safe, cracking jokes.
Also, I'd like to just mention that I've been thinking of the idea of Tucker using their ability on Rita for a long while now, and I was so excited when you offered that idea. Like, the first thing that played in my head is that scene from Princess and the Frog, where the Shadow Man singing the "Are You Ready" song.
I'm ready.
Yes.
I am trying to make a note, but failing horribly. But I will make a note about that. There we go. Now I can actually make the note I was trying to make. Okay, I really should use the notepad, but I'll convert stuff over later, for myself at least. If anybody else wants me to open the table for that sort of idea, just let me know. But yeah, I was thinking that myself, and I'd like to note too that part of the reason Tucker approached Rita, part of the reason that Tucker made that suggestion, and simply engaged Rita so much that evening, just now, is because of his conversation with Brooke and Brooke's encouragement that he should engage Rita if he feels like it. So, Brooke had influence there for certain.
Good job.
Yep. And Rita did the same thing, but in the opposite direction of, hey, Brooke said to talk with the party more, and Tucker's all about emotions, right? The thing. So they'll be the perfect one to ask about this.
Aw. Brooke's advice motivated us both to talk to each other.
Hey, it's almost like Brooke is looking out for you guys.
Aw.
And being a good leader. Wow.
It's almost like Brooke is good at what they do.
I suppose Brooke would notice them talking, too. At the camp.
And Brooke would give them space because Rita chose to talk with Tucker, not him.
Oh. Well, I hate to bust up such lovely roleplay, but Dungeons 1, number 28, for a familiar tune.
Let's do that then. Also, I'm being smart. I have a little notepad on the side writing down the name of the song as we play it. So that way I don't have to look it up later. Oh no, I opened the wrong page. Dungeons 128?
Glade.
Yep.
Oh!
I actually started writing it down on the notepad card because it's like, wait, they're doing roleplay. I don't have to do anything. I can fix this.
Oh, you write it down too? I didn't even see that. I just had the same idea as you the same session. My gosh.
I did it last session too.
Oh, you did? Oh my gosh, I didn't notice. I'm so stupid. Oh, well, it's alright. Thank you, though.
I wonder if we're going to see the seamstress again.
Actually, oh, you missed a song, though. The very first one today was Dusty Shelves.
Oh, you're right. Okay, I'm glad you had that. Sorry, I forgot. That one also wasn't on
that
my
still
last
helps,
list.
regardless. Even if one's missing or something, it speeds me up a bit silly, so thank you for that.
In any case, as you approach the familiar forest, you notice sound becoming more muffled. A familiar sensation, given you've already been here, though it's been some time, and it's not nearly so intense as when you had actually gone to the glade and the manse hidden inside. Mawile, however, stops at just a little ways into this forest, looking around, just doing that thing where one puts their hand up just above their eyes, as if they're seeking something.
See it?
No, I'm not looking for the ruin. I'm looking for... Right, I probably should have mentioned this. So, she turns to address the group. Sorry for not saying so earlier. But the ruins we're going to are protected. I have permission, since I've been there before, but you all need to get permission.
Alright, how do we get permission?
Well, first, we need to meet Oranguru. And to find Oranguru, we need to find the Pessimians. She taps a foot, arms folded, as she looks up towards the treetops. Normally around now, they'd probably have found us. I wonder if they're busy.
I mean, if we get close enough, they'll just stop us, right?
They will, but I'd rather not have to deal with that. Oh well. Oh well. I guess we just go inside. We'll head towards the ruin for now. Hopefully they don't decide that I have brought terrible people here.
You'd never come across it. It's terrible or someone who don't like it.
What was that, Ralph? I have trouble hearing you.
I was like, don't worry, I could never come across as someone you don't want in your safe place.
Tucker kind of piped. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Tucker would pipe up and say, "Well, I guess if we're trying to just gain proper entry, we could travel looking kind of more polite. I guess."
Hey,
He kind of shrugs.
yeah, like we're on a monk journey. Yeah, how do you call a monk journey? Pilgrimage. We're on a pilgrimage. There we go.
Yeah, as Boyle was about to correct Ralph and go, a pilgrimage, Ralph. No, it'll be fine. Nobody makes a pilgrimage out here. Not for where we're going. At least I don't think so. Anyway, follow me. And she starts to proceed deeper into the forest.
Then I follow me.
As you go, you'll notice sound begin to return, particularly as it starts to get darker, as afternoon wanes. And we're immediately going to move to Dungeons 2, number 27. Because you have officially transitioned from the glade to the moonbound forest.
227. Yes.
I love watching little curses swarm over to the tablet.
We finally get this one. I like this. This song is kind of a vibe.
So, I would like each of you to give me an insight survival alert.
Okay, just a moment.
While you all roll, I will describe just sort of a
Could you
general
repeat
thing.
the roll? It was insight. What you cut out?
Survival alert.
Oh,
Be quietly checking Discord just in case.
I think it's actually a case of Hydra's cutting out. Oh,
So,
wow.
A check-in just in case.
Reasonable.
Is Ralph gonna not look around?
Ralph?
Repeat the question. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Insight survival alert.
I'm sweating.
Alrighty. We've got a 3, a 7, a 4, and a 3. Woo. Well, all of you notice as the afternoon wanes, the orange light of sunset starts to filter through the canopy in such a way that it creates these little spotlights on the ground, almost like stars in some places where they're smaller, or maybe even suns for the larger, blotchier spots. Those of you that look up to the canopy will notice that the leaves are tinged in a sort of silver lining, making them seem a little more luminescent than they otherwise would. Tucker, you in particular note that in the darker places, the very roots of some of these plants are silvery.
Pretty.
Indeed. And as you're inspecting one of these trees, you happen to look up just in time to catch movement. A flicker of green and brown. I forget, did we prepare a Passimian model?
I have not prepared either of them, but I can pull them out.
I was gonna say, I know there were some models that I had you prepare ages ago, but I don't remember what they were, and they probably don't work.
What gen are these guys?
So they're from Sun and Moon.
So that would be
7, I believe.
7, yeah, because XY is 6. Okay, hold on a second. Did they update the table? It's a worthy question because it moves where it is in the list. Alright, let's see. Okay. Generation 7.
Yep, if I had you... Oh wait, we do have a very old Oranguru, but we do not seem to have a Passimian.
Huh. I guess I did prepare that a long time ago.
We should probably delete the old Oranguru. We'll do that.
Well, let's make sure that the model isn't corrupted. Unfortunately, the new model versions, some of them are broken, so let's make sure this one is fine.
Yeah, fair enough. This is a very good one. Because I knew we would need Oranguru eventually, I just didn't realize it would be this late.
As long as it's working, we're good. Here we go. Yeah, that's working. You can delete the old one. That what you wanted? I'll fix their...
Oof.
I'll remove their bases. That guy has a big base. There we go.
Quite the hairdo.
The colors!
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's because it's got a color tint of pink.
Yeah, it kind of works, actually.
It's a poison type.
You know what? We're going to keep it.
Okay.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, that's a decent size.
If I recall, they're based on rugby players, Phetsomphou?
I guess? That is an appropriate size. Oh, that is just their coloring, isn't it? Okay.
Oh, he does. Pacific
Oh,
has
no,
a color
that's...
tint. I can change
Oh,
it.
it's a color tint.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Boop.
Thank you. But yes, Tucker, you happen to catch what looks to be a Pokemon before it flees among other branches, rustling them.
Well, knowing that they're most certainly trying to meet up with some other Pokemon, he's not going to pose an aggressive stance, but he will alert the rest of the group that there seems to be Pokemon in the treetops.
Okay, Joe. Looking, the ones we're looking for are 3 dwellers. Actually, would I know that? I think.
Also, Tubby, I think, could you speak a little more into your mic?
Oh, right, sorry.
Yeah,
It's over here because it seems to stay plugged in better over to the side.
Oh, I see. I could tell you were kind of like half cutting off your own voice because of like probably some noise cancellation. I see. Okay.
It's probably them watching us. They're probably judging me right about now.
Oh, well. I hope they like what they see.
Tucker starts walking a little more like prim and proper than like a show dog, you could say.
And right, it doesn't change how they walk. They're always very, like, not prim and proper, but
Stiff.
yes,
Stiff, on a
stiff,
mission.
straight, standing.
Always on a mission.
Eventually, Mawile just sort of stops for a second, almost like she's going to motion for a break. Well, we're almost there. So if anybody wanted to stop us, it would probably have to be now instead of, I don't know, hiding everywhere.
Oh, I don't think they're such cowards that they would hide from us. I'm sure they're brave and awesome and would, make us do whatever it is we gotta do.
Ryder just looks over at the two of them. Why are you acting as though we do not know they are there?
They were my rugby players. We got the whole rugby team.
Oh, that one's busted.
Oh.
Delete.
On to the pitch review.
You're injured. You're off the team.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, they lost their states for some reason.
That's weird.
Anyway. You start talking like that, and just this group of Passimians start to emerge from the brush. And you notice, Tucker, that their fur is slightly metallic looking, silvery in places, but otherwise darker, where you might see on the model here.
Interesting.
You came back, archaeologist. Archaeologist.
I snicker a bit.
I'm here with the ones that I said I would bring. I didn't think I'd ever find someone who was going to help me with this.
I wave.
That's Ralph, my boyfriend. Please be nice to him. They seem to mutter amongst themselves. You trust these, archaeologist? Yes, I trust them. But I know it's not my decision or yours. It's Oranguru's, isn't it? The Passimians begin nodding. One of them side-eyes Tucker very cautiously. Another just starts to sort of circle around Lyre, sort of observing them, making Lyre tilt their head kind of curiously. You. And the one that's been addressing Mawile points at Ryda.
Yes.
Look smart. Tell me, speed of unladen swallow.
that information Ryder would know?
I don't know.
Is it in a book that they read, or?
I want to say yes, because I think it would be funny and kind of fitting for them to know some BS like that.
Does people have math books in the library?
Give me a smart contest logic.
That's a swallow.
Also, Ralph, you can also attempt this, even though you weren't addressed, because just a smart contest logic.
Yeah, just to see if, like, I would have come across this. Because I'm sure Bill had, like, stacks of books with information like this.
What's the airspeed velocity of an unladen Talo?
I said swallow specifically.
Ah, yes. Gotta be careful.
Swallow.
It'll be different.
I just heard swallow, so.
I was not too interested in trivial, like, information like that.
Important ask, is Lucky Chant still active?
No.
It's been
yeah.
a few days.
You should remove that from me.
Always good to make it known, though.
Yes, it is always good to ask. You know that the answer is it depends.
Then Ryder will respond, it depends.
You points at Tucker.
Tucker goes from kind of side-eyeing back to the side-eyes he was getting to kind of standing at attention.
What you doing?
Going with my team on the objective we had. He nods to the others.
The Bestimians nod amongst themselves. You points at Brooke.
Yeah.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Okay. We will lead you. Mawile looks so done with this.
A whisper, did we
what?
Did we pass? Was that the test?
I'm convinced
Well,
they have
that's
access to
question.
really dumb riddle books. They did the exact same thing to me, and it has nothing to do with anything. They just like asking questions. Guess I can't blame them, since they don't really have much for conversation around here. As Mawile begins following the Pessimian troop that begin escorting you very closely, I might add, through the forest away from the direction you were going.
Yeah, so I'll just follow whoever's closest to me. So y'all get a lot of visitors, or
No, not many visitors. Only visitor in many years, archaeologist.
yeah, she's great. I don't want to derail the story too much with Idle.
No, you're fine. She very nice. Many questions will answer. I already told you I am not a question answering machine. See, know many thing. What is machine? I feel like I should have brought a dictionary this time. And she slaps her face. Oh, I reminded myself I needed to bring a dictionary, and I didn't bring a dictionary. This is what I get. I promise they're mostly harmless.
That sounds good enough to me.
Harmless? Yes, we do less harm to those who follow rules. More harm to those who would do harm.
Alright, that means... I like the sound of that.
I mean, that makes sense, Tucker shrugs.
They lead you through the brush, the woods, until you come across a path made of stamped down leaves. That is not what harmless means. Yes, exactly. I feel like Ryda would hate them.
Oh yeah, they're Ryda is very literal, and they are too stupid.
Oh, you got them stupid.
Aw, they're not stupid. They just don't know many things. They're actually quite clever. You should see them when they play ball. Joking aside, you begin following this path, and you come across what looks to be a series of trees connected together by built huts. And in the main central one, at the entrance, sits a large a large Oranguru, who seems to be in a state of meditation. The huts, I should mention, are all gathered lumber. None of it is worked. It has all been pieced and put together in a natural way.
So, like, we're looking at lean-tos and, like, that lattice work weaving technique.
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool. Like, that, like, out of character structures, but, like, that are so cool.
It's like basket weaving, but trees.
Tucker knows the construction too, and while it is clearly a bit primitive, he's nonetheless impressed that they decided to build homes for themselves like that.
I'm surprised Tucker's inner child isn't going, treehouse.
There may be a little bit of that, especially if they get to go in a treehouse to meet Oranguru.
I also feel like Brooke might have a memory of hearing about some trainers doing weird things to obtain little treehouse forts. Ralph would probably have also heard the same thing because that was introduced in that region.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that was probably my favorite mechanic of the entire game.
So sad it went away.
It was a fun mechanic. It felt very just fun. It was
Yeah, it was really
fun.
cool. Like Pokemon is this vast, fantastic, magical world, but this little cave, or this little island, or this little tree, this tiny part of it is mine.
It's yours, yeah.
It's the simulation of I have made my own place and this is mine, and you just getting to decorate it with random stuff. But the lead Passimian eventually moves up, and another pair flank the tree beneath where the Oranguru is. As I start to position people. Thankfully, most of you are in position.
Assume the position.
Also, idle pondering as you do this. Tucker wonders if they've seen the Shadow Scavengers before, given how they regarded him with specific suspicion.
Sorry, just checking information.
Oh, you're fine. Whoosh.
I don't use the animations enough.
A lot of them are actually one of the Specifians. Okay. Yeah, I say rugby because of it's a ball, but they're holding it, so yeah.
Why is the status attack the throw one?
Oh, special attacks kind of. I like how the physical special attack they get the rugby ball out of the way for their individual moves, but yeah. Oh, that's really cool. They just freaking spike it in the status attack.
Yeah, it's really neat. Okay, sorry for the distraction, everyone. That's just neat.
Oh, there for that fun animations.
Yes.
I'm not even a monkey person, but I do like these guys, actually. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Sage Oranguru, we bring you ones that will go into the ruin. Many smells. Even the archaeologist, I see. Well, you got it mostly right. I can hear you. No disrespect, Sage Oranguru. The Oranguru slowly opens their eyes. The fur on their head and like their chest is this like psychic type pink, which stands out a fair bit even compared to like the purple cape that they've got going on. I have a question for you. Not for Mawile, but for those that follow her. Will you indulge an old ascetic?
An old what now?
Ascetic.
Aesthetic.
Like an ascetic monk? ASCETIC?
He speaks all fancy like.
I've never heard that word before.
It means they mostly live without things.
Okay.
Like they eat very little, they possess very little. It's a Tibetan monk kind of thing.
Yes.
I've heard the word before,
Cool.
but I never. Thank you for the definition. I never really fully understood it.
But yes, how do you all answer?
Sure thing. What do you got?
They smile. Wrinkles crinkle at the corners of their eyes. This is definitely an aged Pokemon. Are you the ones my entourage has been telling me about? Are you those that awakened the cairn?
The cairn.
Ooh.
You mean
Yes.
Claydol cairn?
His eyes brighten a bit as he grins. Yes, the Claydol cairn. It is a place of great import.
Yeah, I guess we are. We went into it and then it started moving.
He pulls out a fan and whoops, I smacked my laptop.
Oh, I was
Pulls
I
out
heard
a
a
pen and
sharp
hit
sound
someone
there.
with it.
That was my elbow.
Ooh, ouch! I hope you're okay.
I'm fine. I'm
Pulls
fine.
out a fan and hits your elbow.
No! Ow! Not my funny bones. But he pulls out a fan and smacks it rather loudly against the floor of like his hut's porch or whatever you would call where he's sitting. Excellent! Then we are allies. You awaken the old. Indeed. Perhaps you will be the ones to awaken the ruin.
Wait a minute. Do you know what the cairn is?
He raises his hands aloft. The Passimians do something similar, but all of them have a ball in their hands. Made of the same sort of silvery wood as the trees around here. It is an old thing. A thing that must be preserved. That must be awakened. And awakened it has been. And so our ruin must awaken too. For it is time. That the cairn is awake is a sign. And you its harbingers. Oranguru points his fan at you all. Very well. We, the caretakers of the Moonwide Ruin, shall allow you entry.
All right, score.
He just sort of gestures to the Parapesimians, and they help him down from his hut. He definitely moves like an aged Pokemon, needing help to get back down. And he's sort of like hunched over a bit, even as he moves. The hour grows late. But late is the time when the ruin awakens, just enough. Come. We shall take you to the Temple of Stars.
Ooh. Bow slightly and thank him.
Tucker also does a little bow. That went easier than expected.
I'm just wary about talking too much when the leader's talking to another leader.
yeah. Tucker has that same thought.
Oranguru is going to end up positioning himself beside Brooke during this walk. And there's going to be Pessimians both in front and behind you. And this is a chance to ask questions and talk if you want.
I'll walk behind. Wisdom, idle conversation. So you look awfully wise. So how long have you been the leader here? Or chief, or however you call it?
They call me sage, but that is only because of the wisdom I possess from my age. I am a student of the old ways, and it is my dream to see ancient knowledge returned. That is why, for me, the Cairn Awakening is so important. For them, it is a sign that their duties have commenced. He gestures towards the Pessimians. We are among the last generation here. But that is okay. Even were we to pass, eventually another would find the Temple of Stars, and the duty would resume.
Oh, that's what an archaeologist does. They study really old structures and learn as much as they can from them.
Tell me.
It's a little lot. Okay.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
No. Brooke is basically deep in thought right now, thinking about what he's just said. Yeah, you can continue.
Sorry.
Can I chime in?
Yeah, sure.
I was just waiting for everyone else to do their thing, because I didn't want to interrupt. But yeah, Rita will ask, have you questioned whether it is good to recall the past and remember such ancient ways? Would it not be better to move on?
A fine question. But tell me this, little scholar. How else are we to learn if we are to toss away the past? From whence does your knowledge flow, if not from others who are gone?
Indeed, to read.
You cut off, Tubby, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's more than one person. I think, just a moment, guys. Let's have a little... If you can hear me. Just give me a
No,
second.
I physically saw the light on my mic going in and out.
Oh,
okay.
that was your issue? Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, Ralph's like, yeah, it's a good point. To really know where we're going, we gotta know where we came from.
As the old proverb book in the temple has said, where did you come from, and where did you go?
Oh no.
Yes.
It is sage advice, though.
I too am familiar with the, I forget the word. I too am familiar with the story where the allegory, Cotton Eye Joe.
You mean Cotton Eye Joe?
Who says Cotton Eyed?
Ralph says cotton-eyed. Meanwhile, Oranguru just claps his hands together and chuckles. Yes, Cotton-Eye Joe was very wise.
Let's go.
The new lore. During all this, by the way, Tucker isn't really speaking. He kind of feels like there is wisdom above what he can currently really understand or relate to. But he's absorbing, he's listening. Especially as people, including especially Ryda, asked that question.
Yeah, after asking that and sort of getting the response, they take that in, sort of nodding and thinking to themselves, glancing over towards Tucker for a moment.
Hey, Bryda,
Yes?
could you give me an insight contest perform?
I sure can.
Also, Tucker will give a quiet little nod to Ryda when that glance is happening. Kind of showing that he does agree with what Oranguru is saying.
Yeah, Ryda's basically just probing, like, for more input on this. Yee.
Oh my!
Alright! Okay. Okay.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
Oh no.
Tell me. As Oranguru looks more to Brooke than anyone else. What was it like? The cairn. I know it was buried long ago, but to have seen it with your own eyes.
Brooke's gonna have to think about that for a minute. Well, it's been a while since we've been there. But I remember lights in the walls.
He nods, sort of fanning himself. Other hand is on his chin. Yes. Writings in the Temple of Stars mentioned as much. Walls of light. Walls that live, that move.
Brooke nods. We also ran into what do they call them? A ball toy.
The guardians of the cairn, no doubt.
They didn't seem to like us there.
To be expected of those whose only task is to defend the cairn. I doubt even we, protectors of this ruin, would be recognized by any of its internal guardians.
Were this ruin and the cairn built by the same people?
It is my belief that that is so. However, the way the cairn is described is very different from how the Temple of Stars looks. So perhaps the cairn was built by someone else.
You think the cairn was built by humans?
Do you think humans existed?
Brooke will just kind of smile, say, yeah, I think they do.
Even I am not ignorant of the legends that plague our world. Pokemon that claim to be human, champion, savior, disaster. Whatever you call them, they must exist in some capacity. Hey, Brooke, give me an insight contest for 4.
All right. That's the wrong. Insight contest perform.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, he knows way more than he's letting on.
Brooke will just cock an eyebrow at him. A little skeptically.
Ah, here we are. He gestures with a fan as the forestry is cleared away just a little bit before this ruin. So, all of you get to have a smart contest logic roll.
Okay.
That's my best roll, I think.
As you approach this very large, cylindrical building of stone that appears to have a dome over it, made nearly of what looks to be molded stonework.
My first thought is observatory.
Temple of Stars, maybe.
That's a wonderful guess. Because, in fact, the actually, no, I have to give it to Ralph because I know Ralph's passed enough that a 3 would be enough. So, the 3 of you that used to be human recognize this as an observatory. It's unmistakable, but it's dilapidated, and it's been shored up with stonework that is clearly of Pokemon make, rather than that of humans. Rida, you recognize this structure because you've read about it in books, and somebody managed to make a request of Mewtwo at some point, so you know what the inside of an observatory is supposed to look like, kind of. You can extrapolate that this is probably what the outside is supposed to look like. And yes, Tucker probably saw one on a field trip.
Indeed, and I worked in a place that probably had one.
Yep. Mawile just smiles as she approaches. The Passimians seem to loosen up their grouping around you all, allowing you to wander a bit, but Oranguru specifically follows Mawile around the curve of the building.
If they don't stop me, I'm going to follow them.
They aren't going to stop you from following them. But what about the rest of you? I should ask Rida first. Is Rida going to follow?
Could you repeat who in particular? I got distracted by something.
Oranguru and Mawile are following around the curve of the building at the moment. And just to reiterate, there is Pokemon stonework on this building. that seems to be a part of it now.
Well, this is what we came here to do, so yeah, Ryda's gonna follow unless someone specifically tells them, hey, maybe don't.
What about Brooke?
I think Brooke's gonna take a moment to look up at it and more or less mutter to himself, that's definitely human-made.
Tucker's going to do the same as Brooke. He would spend a moment to marvel at it as well. Probably would stick around Brooke enough to hear that comment too.
It's been repaired a bit, but it's definitely an observatory.
I think I remember those. They let you look at the stars, right?
Brooke nods. Maybe we'll get a glimpse of our star. And he'll head the direction Wild did.
Same for Tucker.
Those of you that follow along, or eventually just sort of walk along the curving wall, are going to notice that the stonework has carvings and hieroglyphs, symbols of the moon and the stars, and Pokemon that seem to be kneeling or worshipping before these things. But Oranguru and Mawile are going to stop before a very large door. It's not stone, but uncorroded metal.
Uncorroded.
And rather than age and wear, there is a star, somewhat oddly shaped, that has been engraved into the metal by some crude tool or another. Sitting in the center, split symmetrically by the door.
Interesting.
Just giving a chance for people to absorb information and maybe respond.
Mm-hmm. So it's clear the added stonework and added Pokemon added structure also has all these engravings and symbolism of it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna note it's interesting that, not gonna say out loud as to not offend them, but it's interesting that Pokemon came and understood that this place was connected to the stars.
Mm-hmm.
They could have been taught at some point and have that passed down.
Another theory. And here is where our journey ends. For now. When the moon is high and full, then you shall be granted entry. She already knows this. Yes, archaeologist. Mawile nods. I can vouch for the fact that this only opens during the full moon. No idea why.
That's interesting.
Tucker finds that curious as well, kind of perking up and looking towards the sky. Assumingly, there's a clearing for this
Yes.
observatory.
In fact, it's quite clear all around the observatory by a decent margin. Almost like it's been taken care of so that it doesn't get overgrown.
It's been tended to.
I don't recall any blocking device that would have been tied to moonlight, as I'm thinking. Whatever causes it to only open during the full moon would have been added after the fact. And I'm like kind of talking to myself, but still out loud.
While just generally addressing the group. So you can see why this was kind of a time-sensitive mission. We missed the first chance a while ago, and a chance or two after, but now we're here.
What can we say? We're busy minds.
I know. But I mean, I'm not gonna live forever. I want to do this while I can still get around. She nudges Ralph on the side with an elbow.
Indeed.
Oranguru is just sort of staring at the door, smiling somewhat serenely. The Phetsomphouians are patrolling in a circuit around the building.
Where is the moon's position, if it is visible?
It's not visible yet. It's still late afternoon, so the moon has not yet quite risen up.
Character, isn't there a Pokemon move that creates a false moon?
Moonlight, yes.
Yeah. Tucker sort of comments, I guess it's a matter of waiting for the moon then now.
Mawile nods. Nothing for it. I mean, unless any of you happen to know Moonlight, but I don't know if that'll work. Oranguru gets this sort of dawning expression on their face as they turn their head back to look at Mawile. I had not considered that. Perhaps. But none of us know it.
What are the odds of Metronome doing it?
Not so good that I want to risk that.
Do you have access to that type? I can't remember.
Nope, he can't select that type. I believe
say,
Moonlight is...
Bug?
I don't remember.
No, Moonlight's fairy.
Yeah, okay, that
I
makes
was
sense.
about to say, why would
If
it be
anybody-
bug?
Okay, if anybody could learn it, maybe you could actually. You are capable of getting. I don't know if you could learn fairy type moves at some point, but I'm thinking Tucker could maybe learn that move at some point.
Yeah,
It's
it's a support move.
Yeah.
It's a basic heal support move.
Dude.
I'm sorry. I just
It's really
Like
good
the most
for
likely person.
yeah. Really good for fighting evil.
You just made me aware of the fact that a fairy dog learning Moonlight kind of makes sense.
There's also Moonblast.
Ooh, I forgot about that move.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Do your
That-
Sailor
that-
Moon cosplay.
Yeah, then you could really be fighting evil by moonlight.
So, did he explain what exactly happens when the moonlight hits? Like, is like a door opens or something? A
I
portal?
believe the door is supposed to open, yeah.
Okay.
At least that's what I infer.
That's probably what Tucker refers to. That we can get inside when the moon's out, so must open the door or something. Well...
Could you not open the door beforehand? By force?
Ah. We have had visitors try. Feel free if you believe you can do so. They smirk.
I'm smart enough to know I can't do so by force in my state. Though I wouldn't mind looking over it.
Please feel free. Observe the Temple of Stars and learn. I will refrain from bothering you much until the moon rises. But we shall gather you food and comforts as we have them. It pays to be a good host to your guests.
Thanks. Tucker does express graciously.
Much appreciated.
Indeed, that sounds great.
With a wave of his fan, Oranguru sends out the Pessimians to go foraging and gathering comforts, as he puts them, and then goes to a nice open part of the clearing and sits down to meditate. By which I mean he takes a nap.
Like he's
Far of a
out.
meditation.
Yep. He takes the instantly out old man nap.
Rock on.
Well, seeing as he's out cold and the others have left, Ryder's gonna go up to Brooke, expressing in a hushed tone, I do not trust them. There's something about this place that doesn't feel right.
Well, I don't think they've said anything false yet. But if
Even
you
so...
want,
Go ahead.
but if you're worried, then I'll keep an eye out.
Might I ask what exactly happened at the Claydol Cairn?
Oh, did the earthquake start before or after we went in there? I think it was before.
Before.
Yeah.
They happened after, but that was only because some Pokemon that were in the cairn afterward made it move
Right, yeah.
on accident.
Well, when we visited it, we were chasing down some Salandits that had broken in and investigating why there were so many earthquakes in the area. Basically, we just went in and messed with things and left. There wasn't really a whole lot to talk about. It was just a weird ruin. Brooke shrugs.
Let's see.
That said, he pauses a moment. I'm beginning to think it has something to do with why we're here. I mean, the three of us. Brooke motions to him, Ralph, and Tucker.
Yes, of course.
Whatever designs led us to be here, it's still my choice what we do. Brooke says that mostly to himself.
I do not wish to get in your way.
Brooke smiles. You're not in my way. If anything, you're going to be my accomplice.
Ryder just tilts their head, confused.
Is Lyre doing anything during this waiting period?
Lyre is just sort of wandering around the circumference of the building. They seem to be looking at the hieroglyphs that are on the stonework.
That's perfect. Tucker also was thinking about having a wander, so he's probably just going to hang out with Lyre then. It's okay, Kara. You did fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
Tucker kind of still has a slightly protective element when it comes to Lyre, given how they first met and all, after all. So he's just sticking to Lyre, though it does seem like things are fairly peaceful around here, at least for the time.
I'd say after the conversation with Brooke, Ryder would go to investigate the door, as they said they would.
Okay. Anyone choosing to do extra investigating can do an insight survival alert.
Sure, why not? Tucker is doing
Indeed, I think I will
observations.
look into this.
Nothing really focused for Tucker, just observing all the ruins and stuff. Oh, that is not the roll I wanted. I'll try that again. 1, 2, 3.
And 3 successes.
It just stopped letting me click. I don't know why. Alright, there we go. Yeah, there we go.
Alrighty.
Brooke will kind of look over the carvings on the walls and see if he can make any sense of them.
Ah. Okay, in which case I have a different role for you, Brooke.
Okay.
That will be a smart contest logic. So we're going to be going from top to bottom on those rolls. So Ryda first. You are observing the door.
Mm-hmm.
So from what you can tell, there are no hinges on this door. And the only seam you can see is only faintly visible down the center, which divides the oddly shaped star engraving in half. And from what you can tell, this engraving is not particularly deep in the door, but it must have been made with something particularly hard. Because the metal seems like it would probably be stronger than your sphere, and your sphere can take a beating.
Mm.
You stated earlier also that the metal is, like, immaculate?
Yeah, it is uncorroded. It has not been touched by the wears of time.
Ryder just sort of presses a hand on it, feeling the metal and looking at the engraving. And then they think to themselves and look at Ralph. Perhaps it has something to do with your metal star piece.
Yeah, I was actually thinking the same thing.
Ooh.
Thinking the same thing. Pull out the star piece and see if there's a reaction. I'll touch it to the door. Well, actually, first I'll put it near the door, see if it makes a noise it indicates don't touch it to the door. And then I will touch it to the door.
Okay, we're gonna get back to Tucker then. Because Ralph,
Mhm.
you have much the same observations as Ryda. But you happen to be familiar with doors like this. The kind that are supposed to just automatically swoosh open whenever, like, something is near via proximity or, like, with a keypad. But obviously this doesn't have a keypad. You hold up the star metal piece, and it thrums in your hand. It doesn't make any sort of like ringing or shrieking noise, but you can feel that thrum.
I'm gonna note that since they brought it up. Yeah, there definitely is a reaction. Nice job.
Have a good night, Mama. If Ralph does touch it to the door, unfortunately nothing happens. It just continues to thrum. It might create a very light, tinny, rattling noise because of the slight vibration it's creating against the metal, but that's about it.
Curious if it's reacting to the door itself or what's behind the door.
Also appropriate Pokemon to appear via the community game.
I thought of that myself.
Tucker, as you go along with Lyre, just leisurely walking around, waiting for the moon to rise. You vaguely remember something about there's supposed to be a Pokemon of the moon, but you don't see a Pokemon in any of like the moon engravings or bas reliefs that the other Pokemon look like they're worshipping. It's just a moon in various phases, or a star or stars. In some of these engravings, rather than kneeling prostrate, some of them are kneeling but with their heads turned up, staring up at the focus of that particular relief or hieroglyph.
Tucker sort of idly just shares with Lyre. Jeez, they really cared about the moon, the Pokemon that made these.
And then you come across a single hieroglyph that's different from the others. On the back end, opposite the door. And it's of a full moon, but the stonework has been marred. It is engraved with the same oddly shaped star as is on the door, right across the moon.
And is that the only place where Tucker noticed the symbol, aside from the door?
That is the only place that has that symbol. It's the only hieroglyph that has been marred or damaged.
Oh. So that... It looks like that was added later to that? So kind of defacing it? Okay.
Yep.
Well, Tucker will relate... Somebody changed this one later. Same symbol as the door. What's it supposed to mean, I wonder?
Brooke was trying to decipher meaning in the hieroglyphs, yes?
Yeah.
So from what you can tell, there isn't much in the way of language that you understand, at least versus the Pokemon language that you've become accustomed to since, coming here. But from what you can understand, at least looking at these various hieroglyphs, the Pokemon here, or at least who built or shored up this observatory, hold a great deal of reverence for the moon and the stars. And in some of the hieroglyphs, it almost looks like some of the Pokemon have books with them, represented as little rectangles but it's hard to tell because, unfortunately, the hieroglyphs have been worn by time, unlike the door. Is Brooke going to be making a circumference too?
I believe so, yeah.
Or a circuit, I should say. Then you're also going to notice, eventually, the purposely damaged hieroglyph.
What's the damage look like?
It's over the full moon in that particular relief is the same carving as is on the door. The oddly shaped star.
Okay. Rook will observe the Pokemon carrying the books. And he'll just wonder aloud, I wonder if the library is involved with this at all.
Unfortunately, right is at the door.
Something to ask later.
Eventually, Oranguru... Oh no, Oranguru doesn't return. Oranguru's still there. He's doing old man now. Eventually, the Pessimians return. One of them has bundles of leaves, or sorry, two of them have bundles of leaves. They would need two of them for all of you. That they sat out as sort of like sitting mats, and the rest come back with berries as well as some root vegetables that they happen to have with them. Things for you all to eat. Very simple things, but it's the best they can provide for their guests.
Hey, a mill's a mill. Tucker is grateful for it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Indeed, indeed.
One of them goes to awaken Oranguru, but Mawile waves them off and has them put everything so that you all can observe the door while you're relaxing. She's very insistent on that because as she puts it, it's really fun to watch it open.
Okay.
I can dig it.
That's fine. Tucker takes an extra bit of time while he munches on things to indeed compare the symbol on the back of the structure to the door symbol, and then, yep, it's the same one. He starts to wonder how long it actually took to engrave that on the door. The metal does look durable.
Durable metal. How did they carve it in the first place?
Yeah, no kidding.
Indeed.
Someone has a laser cutter.
There aren't birds, though.
Water.
Yeah, water would work.
That was my
And
thought too.
a lot of patience.
I mean,
Or a really high level Pokemon with water jet.
I mean, Brooke has done the pressurized water cutter thing before. Just on accident when they were missing a tooth.
That is true.
Is there anything else you all would like to do before moonrise?
I don't have
not particularly.
anything.
I will make sure I'm nearby the door to observe its opening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we're good for now.
Alrighty. We can safely switch to Dungeon 2, number 28. Time passes, almost at a crawl, really. But such is the way of things when one gets bored or is unoccupied. But at least you can pass it in relative leisure. Mawile has her eyes fixed on the sky, and slowly but surely, a moon, bright and full, begins to rise. At first, it is only sound, a deep rumbling from within the building. And when your eyes affix upon the door, there's a sudden, very short jolt, and the crease in the center widens ever so slightly. Both halves of the door, slowly, smoothly, inexorably, moving aside, briefly giving you a look at the internal portions of it. Geometric, jagged, interlocking pieces, folding in on themselves, unlocking, opening the way. A staccato of metallic noises, punctuated by a solid thud as the doors slide away completely. Is it moonrise already?
Incredible, absolutely incredible.
Ah, you bore witness to the opening. Indeed, it is enough to make one gaze in wonder.
Brooke is a little nonplussed by an automatic door.
Tucker seems still impressed. Like, yeah, it's just an automatic door, which he does feel like he recognizes, but at the same time, he gazes at the moon and the door are both in between the process. Curious how it all works. It is still a cosmically interesting event.
Hey, sort of. Oh, sorry.
Oh, just to kind of finish off, Tucker even feels a little bit inspired and lets out a low howl as the event happens.
Isn't it fascinating? Mawil's eyes are bright as she grins. You've got nothing like it anywhere else. Imagine the kinds of locks, the safes, the safety measures you could have with something like that.
To reverse engineer this, to truly recover lost knowledge. Mechanics are quite fascinating.
I knew you were a scholar when I saw you. You appreciate what knowledge of Eld can bring us. Go forth. See what has been left behind by those who came before. I choose to trust you, as I trust Mawai. Take care. What is inside is quite old. Older even than my brittle bones. He laughs, and then, just sort of lifts an arm and bends it almost like he's flexing, and there's this series of cracks and crinkles that sound.
Yeah. Brooke will give a short bow and say, "We appreciate your trust."
We will be here. If you need anything, please ask.
Brooke will nod, and they'll say, "All right, team. Let's check this out."
Let's.
Before we go, I feel it is important to ask, how long do we have before the door closes once more?
The moon is only full enough for 3 days at most. He holds up 3 fingers. However, there are times when the moon begins to wane after only 2. Thus, time is short. You must leave before the Temple of Stars closes, or you will find yourself trapped for an entire month. And I am afraid to say, I have known none who have survived that.
Very ominous.
I suppose we should be quick then.
Can't Ryder just teleport us outside?
He doesn't know that. also, you don't know if that's viable.
That is true.
The structure is still mysterious. Wouldn't trust the teleport.
I'm sure humans have thought of that security flaw.
I take it. Team Cheer is going inside.
Indeed. Oh man, the music's just now getting like super adventurous for me. That's awesome.
Oh, you like this? You put on the new song.
Yeah.
This is a good song. I like this song a lot.
Glad I didn't change the state of the thing away from where it is on the mat. Well, I know it's late, so I'll cap us off on this.
Oh man, right?
Yeah, it's already 10:30.
Time sure does fly.
Right as we're getting to the good part. As you head inside, Team Cheer is greeted by very human architecture, more so than anywhere else you have been thus far on your journey. Creaking wooden floors and banisters. The main room is furnished like a basic temple. There's an altar, a dais, and a podium. There are shelves on either side full of scrolls, probably full of religious nonsense. But there's a stairway to the right. As you head up, each step creaks and groans beneath your weight, each and all of you, denoting the age of the wood. Impressive that it has lasted so long. But as you proceed within, up the stairway, you find an observatory room, where there are still functioning mechanisms to open the roof, based on a nearby winch and lever. But, even more so, before you in the darkness of this room is the unmistakable shape of an intact telescope. Still retracted beneath the curved dome of the ceiling that lies above you. This is the most intact piece of human technology you have seen. The only intact piece of human technology that you've seen thus far. Who knows how much more you're going to find. And that is where we'll end for tonight.
Yippee!
Good session. Nice bit of we finally have the sagely old man type character. We never really had one of those before, so at this point.
Is Alakazam chopped liver?
Okay, well,
I know, right?
I would 2 scenes.
I would say is Mewtwo chopped liver, but Mewtwo isn't exactly an old man ever.
Not old man energy, at least. Technically he's probably old, even though he probably wouldn't like to be called that, but...
Oh yeah, he's the archetype of very old and ancient, yet doesn't look like he's aged a bit.
Hasn't aged since 20.
Indeed, he was designed not to. Or I assume, I don't know.
Yeah, this was a fun session leading up to the moon... What's the official term for this again?
The official term for this dungeon is the Moon-Wide Ruins.
Okay. And just like the song name, which this was determined a long time ago, because this song was added to the list quite a while back.
Yup. I've been waiting on this.
I've been waiting for this. I really like this
years
song.
ago.
Oh, I've had stuff ready for this for a while, and since you guys are finally getting to it, I have been like, okay, I need to get all the stats in, and you're so strong now that I get to do so many cool things.
Yay!
This song always reminded me of the Sun Temple in Klonoa near the end of the game, which definitely is part of the reason I added it to the list, because I was like, oh, it reminds me of that. It's really good.
Everybody gets your 2 XP for the session.
Okay.
Cool.
Speaking of XP, I want to get that thing that you showed me.
Oh, Psycho Shift?
You want a thing?
Yes.
Psycho Shift.
Yeah.
Psycho Shift? Okay.
Yeah. I believe that costs you 28 XP.
Indeed. Man,
Give me a sec.
Some of those Pokemon moves I forgot existed.
Yeah,
Or
I didn't know it
perhaps-
existed either.
Let's see here then.
Yeah, and it's quite Ralphie. It's
Yeah, I found it while I was making things for this dungeon, and yeah, it's a very rough move.
Alright, special fight
So
channel.
sort of like
Transfer the user
synchronize,
stats
but a
elements
move.
Oh yeah, it's like synchronized a little bit. Transfer user status elements to the target. The user is not cured. The psychic suggestion: the target feels afflicted by the same status problems as the user.
indeed.
Yep, it's synchronized, but a move and better.
Also, it's a bit of a giving of burden, which is kind of an interesting counterpart to Tucker's sympathy, which actually kind of is similar in a way to it.
But
But
what
like
we're
the other way
saying is we
around.
start applying status effects to Ralph and then having him switch it onto other people.
So there is a caveat. It's impossible to use this while frozen, and he needs sleep talk in order to use it while asleep.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
So-
one of the first things that popped in my head, like, oh my god, what if I rested and then made the opponent be asleep for it? Like, that is nasty.
Oh, that would be a
That's-
great combo with Rita since they have Dream Eater.
Aha! Just gotta
Oh.
get sleep talk to make it work now.
Yep, Ralph's a willing target. Put him to sleep, and then eat their nightmares.
Tucker is saying on way too much experience. I will probably actually, between sessions, figure out what to do with it. I know I say that sometimes, but I can write it down. As
We'll need to figure out how much Moonlight and Moonblast would be for you.
I am kind of curious. I would like to know too. That's partially why Tucker was inspired to Hal. The moon is something that canines. What's the term? What would you say? They have a natural, like,
Affinity.
affinity to. That's it. And also, now that it was mentioned, Moonlight, I was like, holy crap, fairy move, moon. That actually makes sense. There are actually a number of fairy moves that involve the moon, aren't there?
Moonlight and Moonblast are the only ones I think are there.
I know Clefairy comes from the moon.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
true. I got another fairy moon association, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's Lunatone.
I always like
Yeah.
Lunatone, Soul Rock. Those are cool
the
Pokemon.
only other one that could possibly be said to be moon based is Dazzling Gleam, but that's not really moon specific.
That's true. Just more sparkly.
We like the moon because the moon is good.
Oh, I guess I should actually have rolled the howl that I think about because I forgot it's an actual move.
It's fine. Your stat boost would go away before it mattered.
Okay, fair enough.
Plus, you said it was a little howl, so.
It was like a, kind of a more of a, what's the word, mournful howl almost? Like where it's like a lower tone.
Just a little owl.
Yeah.
Yes, I hope you all enjoyed the session. I know there was a lot of not terribly exciting things until the end.
I had a good
It was a
time.
development session. We have those and they're
Yeah. Tucker and Ryder finally talked about something that wasn't, contemplating murder and how the ethics of that.
That was surprisingly significant and also had a big old payoff technically for what Brooke was trying to do for the two of them. So,
Oh yeah.
Also, the sick thing, Tucker's past, that's quite a big story detail too, actually. And I heavily recommend everyone read Players Canon RP because Tucker actually did remember things about his past in that RP as well. There's a few little tidbits there that were dropping some very interesting bits of information, which pairs interestingly with this too. I recommend reading it if you guys haven't. It's over, of course, on our Pokerole Discord. You can go see it. Players Canon RP is a channel in that, so heavily recommend. But yes, this was a lovely session. Is now Eating Day in Brazil? Oh, congratulations, Chris Hobbs. Oh, what's up?
The mote of memory on Brooke's coat is gone. I just noticed.
Oh, what?
Oh, that added one will, didn't it? Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, why is
Okay.
Where'd it go? I wonder. That's weird.
I don't know. Let me fix that.
Huh. I'm trying to
Should I
say the
have
table
six
very
then?
carefully.
I think that did bring me up to 6, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I wonder if it just accidentally got dropped or not saved. It's fine.
Yeah.
Unless you remember.
And yeah, that should have brought you up to 6. So that it might be that it just didn't get saved on accident.
I'll make sure to change that this time.
I've been somewhat contemplating just how far into the future we are. It's specifically in terms, on a geological scale. I wonder, are we so far into the future that the continents wouldn't be recognizable?
I mean, it would have to be that way.
If we were that far into the future, then Pokemon tech is ahead of our real life tech, so maybe it's designed to last longer.
It's possible.
So remember this. In all the PMD games, there is rarely all that much that has survived, if it is that kind of case.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen altogether that has looked like it's been human tech?
Let's see. I found the box of remains that I figured out was a gun.
Yep. And that was potentially looted from the cairn.
Yeah, potentially looted from the cairn. We found the box, which I recognized as a PC Pokemon deposit box.
Oh, the egg capsule?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing called in Poppy's egg.
Mewtwo himself, obviously, but he's kind of a special case.
Mewtwo off in the distance. Bitch, I'm immortal.
Yeah.
Did the Great Library look like it was made by Pokemon?
That's a hard thing to answer because
That is an interesting question.
I believe I've already implied that it's basically a Mind Palace psychic construct.
Well, yeah, that is fair.
So, if the architecture looks like it's human, then that may or may not just be coincidence, and it's just how
influence.
Mewtwo has
Some things. Yeah. Some things just work well, and it's feasible to think that two different sapient species would have thought of it like, oh hey, wood is a tough but easy to work with material, so two different sapient species, both with access to wood, are going to build structures out of wood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm sure there are things that, like, looked human. Like, come on, there's only so many ways you're going to build a bookshelf.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, I need a place to put these books. Okay. A shelf. Yeah, like, it's a basic shape. I mean...
Yeah, and so certain things just work better. Like a square is a very efficient use of space. A circle is an efficient use of resources. Yeah, so
This was a nice session. Thank you, everyone. Any closing thoughts before I do my outro?
Can't wait till next time.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos.
Can't we just do it next week?
Do
I
it tomorrow.
no. I really can't do it tomorrow because of how my work is.
hang on,
I'm
Leslie, I don't get
joking,
much-
but
Essler only has Thursdays and Wednesdays off typically, so I want to spend some time with him tomorrow if I can.
Yeah, no problem. I was
Wait.
joking.
We'll
I know.
do it at our regular pace.
Session
And-
136 in 2 weeks.
That'll give me time, if I get the motivation, to maybe properly design a dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
ooh,
On Fridays. That's true on Fridays, but I'm working that
and
day too.
handmade them.
I look forward to whatever the future brings upon us. But in any case, thank you everyone for joining me for session 135, which... Have you thought of a title? I guess I'll conclude with that.
Temple of Stars.
Session 135, Temple of Stars. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you for 136 in a couple weeks and more streams to come. You all have a lovely night. Maybe a full moon where you're at the time you're watching this. Who knows? Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.